Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text PREP to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text PREP to 42424. That's PREP to 42424.
Jackson Hewitt makes taxes feel like a yacht rock song.
April breeze, give me my biggest tax refund, please. You, me, and a lifetime accuracy guarantee.
And now get $100 just to try Jackson Hewitt. Does your tax person do that?
Say goodbye to that no guarantee tax guy.
Ready to sail through tax season? Go to Jackson Hewitt and you'll be... Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
America's Diamond has never sold lab-grown diamonds, and we warned our clients, friends, and neighbors that wholesale prices would crash to almost nothing. 2-carat GVS2 lab-grown diamonds are currently being traded at wholesale for $264, but some jewelers are still selling them online for $3,000 to $4,000. Repeat, wholesale $264, retail $3,000 to $4,000. Some retailers are selling 1-carat lab-grown diamonds for under $300, and others are giving them away for free with purchase. Lab-grown diamonds are very easy to detect with gemological equipment. Tens of millions of carats are produced in huge factories in China and India, using a tremendous amount of subsidized electricity supplied by coal-burning power plants. America's Diamond has only offered traditional, real, natural earth-grown diamonds that are rare, extremely beautiful, and have had real value for centuries. See our television program tonight on ABC KSAT 12 at 12:35 a.m. or right now at americasdiamond.com.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We are working a trouble spot on Highway 90 eastbound just past 1604. This wreck is off to the right shoulder. It's still causing about a 25-minute delay as you stop and go from 211. On 35 in Schertz, southbound FM 1103 to Pat Booker Road, that's a 15-minute commute. And on 35 lower level downtown, southbound Main to just past Cesar Chavez, that is road work. It's got the roadway reduced to one lane. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
The San Antonio Spurs sit at 23-28 on the year as they prepare for the end of the ceremonial first half. It's All-Star Game weekend, and Wemby and Chris Paul will be busy. Spurs take on the Celtics tonight at 6 p.m. in Boston, game on ESPN. The Saints have a coach. They're finalizing a deal with former Cowboys and Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. Moore is 36 coming off the Super Bowl win with the Eagles. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Talk.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Bum, bum, bum. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, those of you on the Brigade Bar. If you do listen to the show on the YouTubes, usually you can listen to it now on the YouTubes. We're live, I think.
It appears so.
Are we live? Or
It
do
does
we see?
appear.
Is there action?
We are live.
You are looking
I
live.
see. Yep, there it is. There it is. Oh, Claymore. Good morning, Claymore.
Yeah, he was on it right away.
What a guy, that Claymore. What a guy.
He was waiting.
We need to be nice to He's suffering right now.
Listen, man. I'm as nice as I can be to Claymore after he kicked me when I was down. I'll never forget that he treated me that way, and I don't know why. It was just, it was like fun for him. I didn't understand it. I'll never get it. So I'll always hold that against him, I'm afraid. And sports to you, Elm 321. Sports it is. We will talk some sports. We talked a little bit of nonsense in the first hour. I mean, we did talk some sports too.
No more than normal.
That's true. Yeah. I wanted as we approach the I shouldn't say the halfway point. We approach the All-Star break with the Spurs. They are 51 games in. They'll be 52 at the end of this evening. I wanted to get your thoughts on where they sit relative to your preseason expectation. Have the Spurs done about what you expected? Have they exceeded your expectations? Have they come short?
Well,
so far, what are your thoughts on how this has gone?
Let's consider how we got here. And for most franchises, if you lost the winningest coach of all time suddenly to a stroke, it would have thrown, I don't care what organization you're involved with, into just utter turmoil. And to the Spurs' credit, that has not happened. That they've built such an organization that they're capable of suffering this kind of loss and really carrying on without a bunch of hiccups. So we had to deal with that, which no one saw coming.
Yep.
But we did at the other side of this pick up De'Aaron Fox. So if am I grading from the time that De'Aaron arrived? Am I giving him a pass fail? Am I allowing for the lack of Pop? Because I do think if Pop had coached and had been here, there's 5 games in there that I think just because of Pop, they win. I'm not saying they lost.
That's a lot of games.
I'm not saying, there's 1 or 2 that I will pin directly on coaching, 1 or 2 that I'll pin directly on players. But I do say there's a reason why Pop is the winningest coach of all time, because he knows how to win games. And Mitch is the least winning coach of all time because he's brand new at this. So I'm just going to say there were 5. So I'm going to give them a 5-game leeway. And if Pop had been here, we would have been on schedule. You had 5 wins to this. We're suddenly in the thick of the playoffs. Play-in is what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to play our way out of the play-in and play offs. That's where we sit with those 5 games. So I'm going to give a little bit of extra credit because I know where the Spurs sit. Now here's problems. We do know where there's some weaknesses, and now we've built ourselves into a situation where how good do we want to be now and how good do we want to be later? And I don't know what the answer to that question is. And I don't think we're going to know until after the All-Star break. I can say this, the way we're playing now, we want to be better now than later.
Well, last year, it was pretty obvious early that this was a bad team. And you were in the thick of it. I wasn't covering the Spurs then. I wasn't watching them the way I was now. But, when you have an 18-game losing streak that spans, 2 months, there's no, if we put together a run down the stretch. No, it was decided about 2 months in that the Spurs last season were ass.
AJ, for the first half of last season, first month and a half, almost 2, maybe even 2.5 months, the Spurs starting point guard was Jeremy Sohan.
Yeah.
This was an intent. The plan was to be awful.
The Spurs record last year at the All-Star break was 11-43. So the Spurs already have more than double the amount of wins that they had last year. You see things starting to piece together. I'll be honest, I thought that the Spurs were going to be a play-in team this year. I don't know. I don't know if they are.
Coached, I think they would have been. And you say 5's a lot. 3 game swing.
Yeah,
if the Spurs are
right.
3 games up,
Yeah.
we're playing. We're talking playing now.
But the problem is, when you think about this team's development, I don't know that you can count Greg Popovich as part of the long-term
they can't
plan. That's
what I'm saying. Everything, the day of the stroke, everything fast-forwarded. And then we matched that fast-forward with the trade. But the day that we lost Pop for the season, we had to start looking for the future without a Pop. And that fast-forwarded some activities like going and get De'Aaron Fox. We need to put some things in place now.
Rin says something here that, and remember I said this at the beginning of the season, that maybe the guy who benefited the most from Pop being gone was Steph Castle, because I don't think he gets on the floor as much if Pop is here. So maybe like for the long-term development, maybe Pop not being there is a better thing.
Well, just because you're playing doesn't mean you're developing.
Oh, that's true.
And I do think that's
but you also can't really develop when you don't play.
What you're saying is fair, but the Greg Popovich that we're talking about ain't the Greg Popovich now. He's had to get a little bit easier with dudes over the last couple of years. He ain't the guy that pulls you off and makes you sit for 18 minutes when you don't turn left when you should have gone straight, that kind of stuff. But, yeah, I do think there would have been far more penalties for mistakes than what we're seeing. That's a fair statement.
But, I mean, had you told me 23 and 28 at the All-Star break, I would have said it's kind of disappointing, but it's not.
Okay, now let's talk about it in real terms.
Great progress.
Let's talk about it in real terms, and we're just now beginning. The modern NBA, the prescription just on the top of things is you need 2 stars, one becoming a star, one leaving stardom, and a rookie. You need 2 stars, 2 legitimate all-stars.
Okay.
You have to have another dude on your team that was an all-star, but not anymore, but still can do some stuff. And then you got to have another dude that's about to be an all-star. And then you have to have a rookie that, is headed that way. The Spurs have now met that bare minimum of what success looks like. When you look at the successful teams around the league, 2 stars, couple dudes up, couple dudes down, and a stud rookie. That's kind of what the good teams look like. Guess what? That's where the Spurs are. So our expectations need to rise, and they should have risen the moment that De'Aaron walked in the door and a couple of days prior. So now I think we need to look at this team with every passing day as they get to know more and more about each other. And I heard De'Aaron Fox say the other day, he still hasn't practiced with this team.
Yeah.
They haven't had a legitimate practice, and he's gotten 30 points. He's gotten a 30-point burger already. So I think with every day, our standards need to rise. I think we need to start expecting more every game. If for some reason I see Steph Castle not close out on a shooter and lose a game, guess what, Steph? You get to sit and watch. You have to learn now. We're halfway through the season. Rookies close out on shooters, especially in a game where a 3 beats you, a 2 only ties it, and you went to the 2 and didn't open the 3. That was bad planning. That was poor execution and rookie mistake. We have to start raising our standards and calling out things because now we've got the pieces to be the bare minimum playoff team. Other teams have 2 stars, couple on up, couple on the down. That's what we've got too.
Yeah.
It's time to start expecting wins and not just hoping for a successful outing.
But I also think part of the problem is most of these teams that have 2 stars.
You're right. No, I'm not expecting to be equal there. I mean, De'Aaron hadn't even unpacked his bag. But what I'm saying is now we have those pieces. We can't act like a team that doesn't.
No, I agree. But what I'm saying is the teams that have those 2 stars, like most teams, their best player isn't a 20-year-old kid.
All of that is,
and that's
right.
a big difference.
Like we can no longer accept the mistakes. We let this last week go by. Let me tell you, if something like what we saw over the last week went on in L.A. or a hardcore sports city like Boston, Philly's been doing it all year because they have sucked. But if you let these kind of games get away from you, 2 one-point games in a row, coaches would be under fire. Players would be called out. We have to raise our expectations. Now, this is what we need to be. Playoffs, I don't care right now. Playoffs don't really matter to me. But I do want a winning record for the end of the season after the All-Star break. I want to be 3 games, 4 games over 500 to close this season.
In the second half of the season?
Well, we're past the second half. We've already gone.
At the post-All-Star
game. But once we get this break and we get through this, my expectation is you play like a playoff team. I want you to be 3, 4, 5 games over 500, playing like one. Whether we get there or not,
which if you do that, you'll end up just short of being a 500 team. So let's say they win 38 games. Are we satisfied with that?
Check mark A- season.
Okay.
I mean, you've successfully brought in your another superstar. You have grown your young ones. You have a pretty good idea that you've got another one coming in Steph Castle. And Devin Vassell is kind of rounded into a solid dude that you can kind of count. He might be here for a minute.
Yeah. Now you are going to likely lose Chris Paul, but you still have Harrison Barnes on the roster, who I think provides a lot of that leadership too.
And all of our draft picks and a crap load of money. I think we look at this season, we parse it as the process is in place. We fast forward it appropriately. Got big questions to ask, like who's going to drive this boat over the next couple of years if it's not going to be Pop. But I colored this season a rounding success, but there's some things that have to happen. We need to be winning, and we need to be the team that the last game of the season, everybody goes, uh-oh, wait till they get this thing next year. Like everybody was talking about Cleveland as we started into it, where they know, like, uh-oh, look at what they did and look at where they're going. Barring something weird, this is going to be scary, and I want everybody to look at us like that.
Yeah, I think I think that if they get to around that 37-38 win mark, it'd be obviously it's a positive step from 22 wins last year. Like but it would feel like, and I thought, like I said, I thought they were a play-in team this year. Maybe as things have gone on, maybe they're 1 year away, and a lot of it is Wemby needs to grow some. A lot of it is they're still just missing a couple real key pieces, like a shooter. Like the way that they play, it requires them to get a shooter. So that I think that's got to be an off-season priority.
The greatest coach of team sports history isn't sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah. Well, Bill Belichick's at North Carolina now.
Well, we can argue. But there's two or three that would be sitting in the room with the argument. Belichick, right. Jackson. You go, he's not here, and no matter how well the backup dude is, the next guy is, he ain't Pop.
No, you're right. But again, we don't know if Pop will be there next year either. So it seems like probably not. Not that we have any inside information. We have no information.
None at all. Nobody does.
Also, it's you win 37 games, 38 games. If you were in the Eastern Conference, you'd be in the playoffs.
And I think if the Spurs were there and they got a few more of the Carolina visits, I think things would, the Sixers, all those lousy teams. That's why tonight I think really does matter, because this is the everybody's kind of got a little vacay in front. Wemby's about to go take that next step into superstardom, as he heads into the All-Star game, and, he's going to be front and center. And then they'll all get back together next week and play their first time back in Texas, and I do think that the expectation levels should rise. We need to expect more, and there should be prices and penalties and things to pay for not living up to expectations.
And the truth is, right now, as it stands, the Spurs are only 3 games out of the last play-in spot, and none of these teams in that play-in range do I feel like super confident are going to be there at the end. Okay, here's
the problem we run into at this time of the year. Did you see the Bulls game last night?
No.
I think the Bulls managed to score like 26 points in the first half. They were down by like 42 to Detroit by the end of the first. It's gonna be so hard to make up games on teams because there's now so many easy games.
Yeah.
There's not going to be an upset here or there that you can kind of bank on that you're going to make up a half game because they got a cake game, you got a cake game, so we're all, we're one step closer. And you literally have to try to lose some of these games because Chicago is giving you the game. They're going to do everything they can. The Wizards did everything they could to give the Spurs the game.
Yeah.
So it's hard to make up games because those guys are playing the easy ones too.
Well, the teams ahead of the Spurs now, the Suns, who knows what they're going to look like. The Warriors, who knows.
But I do know this. Both of them are going to go full speed ahead to the playoffs. There ain't no tank in those two teams.
No,
they got nothing else to do but go win. So they're going to give it their all at every opportunity.
Do you think the Spurs won't?
I think that I think that as the season goes on, like we saw last year, once the Spurs were kind of mathematically eliminated, they just unleashed Wemby. They just let Wemby go do whatever he wanted, and he closed the season out looking like, oh my gosh,
but that's why, to me, it doesn't make much sense to. I think
they're going to go all in. I don't see any reason not to, but I just think it's going to be very difficult. And I do think once you are in this kind of situation where you got nothing to lose but a lot to gain, things can get a little fun. So I kind of bank on that and hope there might be, knock on wood, an injury or something like that to somebody in front of us that kind of opens the door, because the best thing that could happen to the Spurs right now, and I'm honest, is to make the playoffs. That's a step that we know they're going to have to make, and I'd like to see them play a team 3 times in a row, 4 times in a row, and have to prepare for it. Now, that would sacrifice at least one set of ping pong balls, but, I think in the progression of the Spurs, you got to treat it like the next step is add more talent, but also understand what it's like to play winning teams in a playoff situation.
2 weeks ago, would you have felt like there was a world where the Spurs could catch the Mavericks in the standings?
No.
But it kind of feels that way now, right?
It does. There's opportunity here, and I think we should capitalize on it and don't sacrifice at the altar of Cooper Flagg. The Spurs have had lightning strike way too many times on the luck side of things to think it's going to happen again. But I do want to have one lottery ticket, and it feels like Atlanta's going to help us with that. So go do everything you can to make the playoffs. You never know.
Yeah, although Atlanta's now won 3 in a row after it looked like they were falling off the map. They've won 3 games in a row.
I'm going to rely on their imminent demise.
Yeah, we need it. They're sitting at 26 and 28. They're the 8 seed right now in the East. But they're also not a very talented team.
No,
it should show eventually that
they lost Johnson the other day. They're not what they were.
The problem is it's really hard to not make the playoffs in the East because of the reason you just said.
Yeah.
Like the Bulls are a 10 seed and they're actively trying to lose games.
The Bulls won't win 2 more games for the rest of the year. It's going to be that bad.
And then the teams below that 10 line, Philly, I don't even know what to think of Philly. Brooklyn, who isn't trying.
Yeah, they're done.
Toronto isn't trying. Charlotte isn't trying. And the Wizards aren't trying. Like, it's really hard. If you're the Hawks, you've got to try not to make the playoffs. You have to, actively effort to lose games.
And I think they're going to realize that they don't have any reason to not win. I mean, they don't have a draft pick.
Right.
So they're going to charge forward. But I think there's going to come a time when there's just no more bullets to shoot.
Well, every move they made it seem like they were waving the white flag.
Right.
So it's like their roster is eventually beginning.
Yeah, they've hit some shots, but they lost Johnson. They traded dudes away. I just can't imagine them holding on. But as far as the Spurs go, I'm not advocating tank. I think that they should charge all the way in, but do it in a way that does continue to grow the things that we need to have grown.
All right, we'll continue this conversation on the other side. Some Morning Huddle on 94.1.
Dr. Jacob Torres is my physician. Go to the IFF webpage. It's iffhealth.com. The reason I want people to go there, and people ask me, go take the functional test. What do you mean when you say that? Well, what I want you to do is when you get a moment, go to iffhealth.com. And there's a functional test there that the doc and his staff have put together a series of questions to kind of lead you to where you need to be in the right frame of mind to start losing some weight. Because if you're not ready to lose weight, if you're not ready to put in the effort, you won't get the outcome. Now, there's lots of shots you can take and pills that you can take for as long as you want, and that'll help. But at some point, the medication will not be part of your life. And can you continue to keep that weight off when it's not? That's the question you have to ask yourself, and that's why Dr. Jacob Torres has been so successful. Because he'll put you on a program, you'll lose weight. That's not in doubt. But if you'll put in the effort and put in the work, you'll keep the weight off for the rest of your life. I've been seeing Dr. Torres at the IFF, Institute for Functional Health, for nearly 8 years now. I'm down nearly 80 pounds, and I am not going anywhere because the program I'm on is my life. This is what I will be for the rest of my life. I eat better, I live better, I'm healthier than I was yesterday, and I'll continue to be so. Can you say that? If it's time for you to lose weight, if you want to live a healthier lifestyle, go to some place that understands why you got here and how they can get you out. That's Dr. Torres. Here's the number. It's 210-468-1891. Again, his website is iffhealth.com. If it's time to change your life, if you're ready to lose the weight and keep it off, call Dr. Torres today and come on by and thank me later.
South Texas. Get ready for the ultimate sports talk experience. The one and only Rich Eisen is on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. With over 20 years of NFL experience, Rich Eisen brings breaking stories, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews with sports legends to your airwaves with unmatched wit, insight, and passion. Catch all the action every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show, only on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer lets you easily compare direct rates from different insurance companies, so you can be confident you're getting the right one, even if it's not with Progressive. Way more confident than you were when you tried online gaming. Who knew 12-year-old boys could be so mean? And where did they learn to swear like that? 2 hours of losing to these underage trash talkers, and you're starting to question if maybe you really should stick to pickleball and other boomer stuff. So use Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer and be confident you're getting insurance that's right for you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
At Round Table Pizza, our signature ingredients like made-from-scratch dough, our 3-cheese blend, and toppings all the way to the edge create your perfect pizza. Try our new pepperoni, grilled chicken, and bacon pizza, available for a limited time. You can enjoy a large for only $19.99 at participating locations. Plus, pair your pizza with our irresistible shareables. To find your nearest location or to order for pickup or delivery, head to roundtablepizza.com. That's roundtablepizza.com.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
Wow! Most cars and pickup trucks can have a ceramic film installed by the experts at Mother's Window Tint starting at just $199. That's an incredible price. If you shop around, you'll find that competitors charge hundreds of dollars more. Plus, it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. Mother's Window Tint offers up to 60 different film options to fit all price ranges. Since 1984, Mother's Window Tint has been known as the home of the tint and alarm special. If you're looking to enhance your vehicle security to the highest level, visit Mother's Window Tint today, where security systems start at just $3.99. Call us at 210-496-3454. That's 210-496-3454. Or visit us online at motherswindowtint.com. And remember, do it at Mothers and save!
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
If you missed the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you missed this.
He's going to have some excuse not to be able to play this Saturday. It'll be something that you go, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
You've got to go do that instead of go play golf?
Yeah.
Wine tasting?
No, something that I think is a complete waste of time.
You can't say that.
These damn kids today.
Gender reveal?
Yes! Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You're locked on the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
It's showtime! X to the Z.
Yeah. X to the Z exhibit. Yeah.
What's he saying?
What?
I can't understand.
What?
Ah!
Yeah, he said that. Get ready.
No, you ain't trying to hotbox with Rob. You ain't trying to hotbox with Vic. Oh, man. X to the Z.
Yeah.
He was famous for a little while.
Yeah, for a minute.
Wonder what happened to him.
Wasn't he on the Pimp My Ride? Was that him?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah,
that
was a
him.
big old scam.
Yeah.
That was a mess.
They look cool there for a minute.
Yeah, you know, yeah. And most of those rides shouldn't be pimped was the problem.
Oh, yeah. They were doing like Corollas and and I don't know, Fiesta.
Yeah, you've got the coolest Ford Fiesta on the block, bro. Now, it's not going to help it run. Like
but it looks good.
Yeah, those 24-inch rims the rim bone isn't connected to the transmission bone.
I'll tell you what, though, I watched every one of them.
Did you really?
I love those Pimp My Ride.
Oh, I hated those
shows.
shows.
What we're going to do? We're going to put a fish tank.
Yeah.
You know,
right between the seats.
I had a roommate who loved to watch Cribs. And I never understood why, like...
Oh, yeah, I don't want to look at other people's houses.
Yeah, who wants to see inside some rich dude's house?
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really nice.
Yeah. Oh, look at his closet that's the size of your house.
Yeah, look at his third pool. He's got 2 pools, and then he's got one over here.
Although the Cribs wasn't, I didn't get into that, but there was the one where the dudes that put in the giant fish tanks into people's houses. Did you ever watch that one?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Now, that was interesting.
Yeah.
What was that?
That's a commitment, man. Like, they're putting in, 5,000-gallon fish tanks in people's houses.
All custom built, and it's pretty.
There was a show about that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, there's only like 25 people in the world that want to do that stuff, so they ran out of those people, and the series went off. But while it was on, it was cool.
Couldn't make season 2.
Well, it's...
Anybody who wants a 5,000-gallon fish tank has one.
We got them all. They did it. Everyone in the world has it. What exactly? Was it called?
Tanked.
Yeah.
Okay. Taint?
Well,
tanked.
Oh, tanked.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could get a tank that looks like you're tanked.
Okay. All right. Well, that'd be. I
don't know how that would work.
I don't know how it'd work either. Would it be hairy?
Everybody's got their own kind of taint. Their own gooch.
Everyone's got one. That's what they say. All right, we were talking about the Spurs and what the expectations were, and probably not going to meet preseason expectations at this point. Though maybe adding De'Aaron Fox, maybe you get a big big run in the second half where if they were to win 7-8 games in a row, suddenly you're working with something there.
Maybe.
It does suck that the last game before the break is at Boston, which feels like an unwinnable game because you'd like to have a little momentum going into the break, but it doesn't look like they're going to get that. I would have much rather them played the Celtics and then played the Wizards the last game, even though the record would have been the same. It would have just felt good to end on a high note.
You think? I like this.
You like playing the Celtics to end?
Yeah, let's go in. Let's be our only visit to Boston. Let's get this out of the way. And play like there's no tomorrow, man. You might get an extra minute or two tonight. We're not going to sit by the normal substitution pattern because you guys all get about 5 days off. So let's go in there and play like there's nothing to lose against a team that we actually match up with pretty well.
Yeah. There are, looking at their second half schedule, there's a couple of rough patches. There's a run where they play 3 games in a row at Houston, at Memphis, home OKC. That's going to be rough. There's a run where they play at the Lakers and then home to the Knicks back-to-back. There's a run where they're at Cleveland, home Boston, home Golden State, 3 games in a row. So there's a few tough stretches, but there's also a lot of winnable games. A lot of winnable games against what we were talking about, the dregs of the Eastern Conference. You've got back-to-back games with the Pelicans early when you get back from the All-Star break.
Lots of home games too, just because of the month we spent away. So you play a little bit. I mean, the typical Spurs when they were going through the successful period, that 20 years of success, the rodeo road trip was the boot camp I mean, the team left San Antonio at the start of February and came back ready to go.
Yeah.
I mean, positions were finalized, rotations were done, the mentality was in place, and it was time to go and get ready for the playoffs. This was it. And that's always been a benefit for the Spurs. And over the last couple of years, what Pop has used this for is it's still a boot camp, but it wasn't about getting better as a team. It was about getting better as an individual. And we didn't really intend to win games, but individually we wanted to get better. Now let's use this the way they used to. Let's get some momentum, come on and play a bunch of home games against some average teams and stack some wins.
And the Spurs, if they were to win tonight, it would be a 3-3 rodeo road trip, which I think you'd probably take that. 2-4 isn't ideal, again, and especially because the games that they lost, like the Memphis game, whatever. Memphis is way better than the Spurs, but losing at Charlotte by 1, the way they lost was a
staring at a shooter,
kick in the balls. Losing at Orlando by 1,
tough shot, but still, man.
Those are the games that if you want to finish 3, if you want to have a winning road trip, those are the ones you had to win.
Yeah.
Because winning at Memphis and at Boston, it was going to be an uphill climb regardless. You had real opportunities to make some hay on this road trip, and you didn't. But that's a sign of a young team and a team that's it's got a long way to go, man.
All the more reason, press the gas, play like there's no tomorrow. And if you get into the playoffs, all the better. I'll count my ping pong balls at the end of the season. But once the De'Aaron Fox deal was made and we held on to our picks this year and next, it's all gravy from here on out.
No, I tend to agree.
But I say that with a grain of salt. They have to continue to improve, and we're going to have to start seriously talking about coaching.
Yeah.
I mean, either current good, bad, or future good, bad. But as we plan for the future, we need to kind of know who's driving the boat.
Yeah. And, again, they're going to have to find a shooter at some point, whether it's I don't – you know what? Watching them last night, there was not a lot to smile about if you were a Texas fan last night. But Trey Johnson is a baller.
He's a lottery pick, man.
Yeah. That's a guy who, if he's around, because I assume that I'm less high on the fact that the Spurs might get a Cooper Flagg or a Dylan Harper. Like, it'd be awesome if they did. I don't think they will. But if you can get a guy who is almost even just a specialist, like just a guy who all you do is shoot, if you get a Trey Johnson or who's that? Kasper Yakashonis, the kid from Illinois. Like a guy who your only job really is to go out and shoot threes. I'm cool with that in the draft. I'm cool with finding just a big man in the draft. Find just specialists, guys who do one thing well. Because like you said, you've got your core. You've got your 2 superstars or at least 2 stars. I don't know if either of them are superstars yet. I guess De'Aaron Fox has a third-team All-Pro, which is
he's an All-Star.
He's a one-time All-Star.
That doesn't matter. He is good enough to play in any All-Star game last year, this year, next year, and no one would question it. It's about votes and other guys. He's an All-Star.
And Wemby is obviously not in full Charizard mode yet, but when he does get there, I think you've got more than a superstar. So it's just a matter of what you're going to piece around those guys. And if Steph Castle can blossom into a stud as well, then all the better.
You did, as far as going and chasing shooters and kind of filling in around the edges. This will be a good year to do that. My son Jack, my basketball pipeline, talked about McNeely coming out of UConn. If you're not going to be in that upper part of the lottery chasing those studs,
he's soft. He sucks on defense. But who cares?
There's 3 guys on Kentucky that have that kind of mentality. There's a lot of good shooters in the world now because they're getting well seasoned because they're playing 2 and 3 years in college now where they used to be coming out. So shooters can be found.
No doubt. And if you can find one of those, if you pick in the top 5, you don't have to worry about getting a shooter because you get a complete basketball player. But if you don't, which the Spurs they're unlikely to pick in the top 5. If you don't, just get somebody who's really good at one thing, and that's fine. And you know who else is that? That Knuppel kid from Duke.
Yeah, Knuppel, him.
Yeah.
And then
also just shoot.
The kid they just got from Sacramento, McLaughlin, is a shooter.
Oh yeah. Although are they going to let him play?
Not this year.
Okay. Well, so there's possibilities. All right, let's hit a break. We'll be right back. It is the Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
How are you feeling this morning? You wake up in pain, something bothering you, keeping you out of your life or out of fun stuff? If that's the case, why? You know, in this day and age, with the access to health care we have in so many different ways, so many people live with things that just keep them out of their life, and you don't need to because there's fixes out there that are readily available, like Arasti. Now, Arasti is a term. It is a system. It is not a person or a thing. It is a way of getting people out of pain. It's a certification that medical professionals achieve after they've already become medical professionals. What I'm saying is you don't just become an Arasti provider. You already need to be a chiropractor, a general practitioner, a physical therapist like that, and then you achieve the Arasti certification. And once there, you've got master's level pain management. So when you go see an Arasti provider, they're going to approach your painful situation in a unique way, in that they're not coming at this with a bunch of pills to hide the pain. They're not coming at this with surgery to get rid of it over a long period of time. We're talking about getting it fixed fast in ways you might not have considered. See, your body can fix itself if given the opportunity. I'm living proof. I had lower back injuries most of my adult life, thought it was my back. Turned out it was my hamstrings. We addressed the problem. The back issues went away. That can be for you. When you go to an Arasti provider, see, they give you a full evaluation. They're going to find out what the problem is and fix it, and they're going to do it fast. On average, under 4 visits gets their patients back in the game. So how do you do this? First of all, no, there's no referral needed. You can go ahead and make that call. Call them right now. The number's 1-800-404-6050. The website, well, that's easy. It's Arasti.com, AIRROSTI.com. There you can find a map of all the providers. You can go ahead and make your appointment online. Do what you need to, knowing you don't need a referral. And when you walk in the door, they're going to accept most insurances. Listen, don't let pain keep you from doing things that you love. There's an answer. It's Arasti. Call them now and thank me later.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. As you head into your commute, your travel time on Highway 90 eastbound from 211 over to Hunt Lane. Right now, traffic filling in. That's going to take you about 30 minutes. 35 minutes, 1604 westbound I-10 to 281. A 30-minute ride, 1604 northbound I-10 to 35. 6-8 minutes on 281 southbound, 1604 on down to Wurzbach Parkway. And about a 6-8 minute ride, 1604 eastbound Bandera Road on over to I-10. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes. Jackson Hewitt makes taxes feel like a yacht rock song. Get your max tax refund guaranteed, and new customers get $100 to switch. Don't miss the boat. Book an appointment with experts today. Limited time offer for new clients, participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Davis Law Firm secures important verdicts and settlements for Texans hurt in a car, truck, or 18-wheeler wreck. Many in the millions of dollars. No case is too big or too small. And remember, there's no fee unless we win. So if you want more, call the Fours. Davis Law Firm San Antonio, 444-4444.
America's Diamond has never sold lab-grown diamonds, and we warned our clients, friends, and neighbors that wholesale prices would crash to almost nothing. 2-carat GVS2 lab-grown diamonds are currently being traded at wholesale for $264, but some jewelers are still selling them online for $3,000 to $4,000. Repeat, wholesale $264, retail $3,000 to $4,000. Some retailers are selling 1-carat lab-grown diamonds for under $300, and others are giving them away for free with purchase. Lab-grown diamonds are very easy to detect with gemological equipment. Tens of millions of carats are produced in huge factories in China and India, using a tremendous amount of subsidized electricity supplied by coal-burning power plants. America's Diamond has only offered traditional, real, natural earth-grown diamonds that are rare, extremely beautiful, and have had real value for centuries. See our television program tonight on ABC KSAT 12 at 12:35 a.m. or right now at americasdiamond.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi, golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN+. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf, Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Keep up, it's golf.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Are you facing divorce, a child custody battle, or a complex family dispute? AJ here for the Hicks Law Firm. Attorney John Hicks brings unique experience to the table. As a veteran and first responder, he knows the challenges, he knows the pressure, and he knows how to fight for what's yours. The Hicks Law Firm offers flat-free representation from beginning to end and payment plans so you can get representation now. Visit jhickslawfirm.com for a free consultation. That's jhickslawfirm.com, a local law firm with the national resources you need to win.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Hey, this is Greeny. We'll tackle the NFL and dive into the NBA today at 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You seen the meme comparing that to the halftime performance?
No.
White people can't understand that they listen to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can understand that.
You can't understand, but you enjoy this, do you?
Oh, yeah.
Can't understand that, but Bob Dylan, you'll.
Even flow, baby.
Yeah.
That's 40 years ago.
Oh, is it really?
30.
No, it
that's
can't be
91,
40.
92.
It was 91, I think. I was in middle school.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
92, right? 91.
Right.
91, 92, yeah. That was a great time for music. That Pearl Jam 10 album is still one of the best albums ever. Every song on that album is a banger. Even when you can't understand the words. Oh, no. But that was back when they were wise enough to put all the lyrics inside the CD thing. So
Liner notes.
Yeah.
Good old days.
I'd be trying to read along. Oh, is that what he's saying?
Don't you remember busting out your record and reading the liner notes?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that matters.
Oh, yeah. Ren graduated high school in 91. When did you graduate, Vic?
89.
89.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
All right. We were kicking around possibilities during the break on who the Spurs should look to draft. It sucks that we're talking more about who they should draft rather than having a chance at the playoffs. But again, it's still a positive line. You know what I mean? And it couldn't have been worse than it was last year. But you still like the trajectory.
Well, who doesn't? I mean, think about where they were. Let's go back 4 years. 4 years ago, by this time, I think Primo was already off the team. Was he already sent home? First round draft pick.
Just a total waste.
Was just an utter waste. We had other things going on. We knew things were bad and getting worse. We had just drafted. We had Blake Wesley and Brenham. I'm sorry. Drafted two of the same dude and the same. I mean, it's kind of like it didn't look like there was much of a bright future. And then there's this tall, skinny French kid, and everything kind of changed. So if you'd have told me where we were and where we are now, it's leaps and bounds where we would have expected to be.
And if you win 20-something games a year ago, like generally it's a long road back from that. There's exceptions. The Grizzlies won 27 games last year. We know why. You know, their best they dealt with all kinds of injuries, but their superstar was
playing with guns.
Yeah, was out for a good chunk of the season. But the only other 20-win teams in the Western Conference were 22-win Spurs and 21-win Blazers. And you know what? The Blazers are probably feeling like they're on about the same timeline as the Spurs. Like they're feeling like, because they're playing as what they're right there with the Spurs.
Well, I'll tell you what, when we look back on wherever the Spurs end up in a couple years, you can't draft any better than Wemby and Castle. I mean, literally, there's not been too many teams in the history of the NBA that drafted two guys that are going to be all-stars for most of their career.
Yeah.
In 2 consecutive years. You just don't ordinarily get that lucky.
It'd be like getting Shaq and Penny back-to-back.
Basically, that might be the closest example, short of Magic and then Worthy. Where you go, how? And the Spurs managed to pull that off, which on its face is absolutely, it's 1 in 1,000 shot. So we're so much further ahead than we thought maybe could have been. But the fact is, there are still some deficits that the Spurs haven't reached. There's still some of the talent acquisition isn't quite there. We need to get some dudes that need to fit, even though we like the guys we have, they might not necessarily fit. So there's some tough decisions that are going to have to be made sooner than later as we try to progress. Now's the time to make those tough decisions, and we didn't really have to make one during the trade deadline. There wasn't a really hard decision to make. We held on to the guys we liked. We got rid of the dudes that needed to go. We're about to get to the time where we're going to lose some guys we like, and it's going to be because they got to go.
Yeah. I don't know. It's really early to tell on Castle, but it does look promising.
AJ, I'm going to say it. Let's not dance around it. He's a home run. He's an all-star in 2 years. Barring injury or idiocy, he's an all-star. There's no doubt in anybody who's watched him play, and they go, except for something above inside the ears, everything else shows you he's got the mentality, he's certainly got the body, he's got the skill set, and he's better today than he was last week.
I would like it if he didn't think he was a shooter still.
Well, who knows if he's not? He's a baby.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
By every measure, he is a resounding success. We can say it now. We're more than halfway through his rookie year. We can all admit, pat ourselves on the back. This was a home run. This was as good as they could have done in 2 consecutive drafts.
Yeah.
Not a lot of teams can say that.
No, you're right.
Unfortunately, you have to be awful to get there, but to be successful at it, it's a rare thing.
Yep. The end result of this season, I think that we're always going to say, well, what would have happened if Pop would have been around? But as long as there's some sort of clarity going into next year, I think that next year starts the playoff run. And the Spurs next year, when they get there, there shouldn't be like an in and out of the playoffs with this core. Like it should be permanent.
Clarity from coach, clarity from players. What do you
clarity on the coaching situation, like what's going to happen going forward? Because there is none right now.
No, I agree with that, and I assume I have to. They are with military precision already working on whatever the next is. But as far as the players, we have to, if we're going where we want to go and deciding playoffs, yes or no, we'd love to be there, and we're going to do everything we can to get there, but we also have plans for next year. If that's the case, when we get back from the All-Star break and Chris Paul plays in his last All-Star weekend, Chris has got to go to the bench.
I think he has to.
He has.
Yeah.
Can we all agree with that?
Yeah.
He has to go to the bench. I'm not saying cut his minutes. I want him closing games. I certainly want him there in the last 5 minutes. But he doesn't necessarily need to be there in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
so
I'm with you.
I think that's the next step in the progress is having a conversation with Chris Paul, which really shouldn't be that difficult. I think he's been around the league long enough to know, I probably need to get out of the way for this guy.
Yeah.
And I don't think it would be that big of an ask. But I do think coming back, that's the next step in the Spurs' future is let's get that backcourt playing together now because that's what's going to be there next year.
Yeah. The other thing I thought about when we were going through this, did Steph and Klay Thompson go in back-to-back drafts, or was there a year in between?
It was pretty close.
Maybe it's Steph and then a year off, and then Klay and then Draymond back-to-back. But I was trying to think. I'm having a hard time. Like, who are the all-time? I'm sure there's like a Reddit thread or something about the greatest players drafted in back-to-back years by a franchise, but. That'd be. I'll try and do some research on that during the break and see if I can come up with some. But if Wemby and Castle become something like that. I mean,
I think at the end of this season, it shouldn't be if. It should be the statement be they should. And we need to act like they should. There's no reason, apart from utter catastrophe, that those two don't become that. We see it all. We don't need to dance around the fact that they can do everything we've asked them to do, and there's no reason other than calamity that it shouldn't happen. And now we have 3. I mean, let's be realistic now. When we start the season next year, we are going to have 3 guys on the All-Star ballot, and probably all 3 of them are going to get enough votes to get in. Now, I'm not sure all 3 will, but there's no way that Wemby does not have the gravitational pull to pull one more dude with him into the All-Star game next year.
I would think so.
And you'd think that would bring 2 of them in when you're talking about a De'Aaron who's a human highlight film and Steph Castle, who is also a human highlight film.
Right.
So you got your 3. I mean, the Spurs are already there, good, bad, or indifferent. We can look at the other 12, but if you're telling me that the prescription for NBA success is 2 superstars and a rising star, we're there, and we're about to go from rising to just star in Steph Castle. So a lot of the heavy lifting has already been done, even if they don't get a decent draft this year or next.
Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook went back-to-back years.
That's a pretty good draft.
That's
pretty brilliant drafting.
KD, Russ, James Harden 3 years in a row.
Harden was a bigger surprise. Well, I don't know who was a bigger surprise, Harden or Westbrook. KD was. We all knew it was coming. But
everybody except the Blazers, who took Greg Oden.
Well, they had a history of that.
Everybody but one.
But they also took Bowie prior to that. They took Oden and they took Bowie prior. And so yeah, they're gonna whiff on the big guy. But well done there. But I do think that of those 3, Russell was probably the biggest surprise.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, and that's the other thing. All 3 of them were top 5 picks. It's like, it's not like they snuck in a home run
Spurs,
somewhere.
this was 1 and 4. I mean, yeah, it's easy to, but a lot of teams have whiffed on those.
No,
so
you're right.
It's very hard to come by that and land stars, and they turn out to be exactly what you expected. That is such a rarity.
No, it absolutely is, and that's why, when you think about the Thunder now, it's like how they've gotten to where they are now. It's like, okay,
we are 2 years away from the best rivalry in basketball.
Oh, I hope you're right. I hope you're right, man.
It'll be Team and Guy, Gilgeous and Castle.
Although I'm telling you,
Holmgren and Wemby.
But there's some teams like Houston looks like they're going to be for real.
No, I'm just talking about rivalry. I just think there's the already inborn kind of rivalry that we already hate Houston. But the matchup between the Spurs and Oklahoma City is going to be one of those.
The man-on-man matchup between Wemby and Chet it's going to be a thing.
Castle and Gilgeous. I mean, yes.
I love it. All right, halfway through Hump Day, my favorite time of the week. We'll be back with more sports, fun, frivolity, pornography, you name it, we got it. Morning Huddle 94.1.
Riding to work with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. It's the Morning Huddle, KTFM Floresville.
This report is sponsored by Straight Talk Wireless. Don't let data limits hold you back from being the gift master in the family group chat. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get real unlimited data on a reliable 5G network. Straight Talk, available at Walmart or straighttalk.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Try Round Table Pizza's new pepperoni, grilled chicken, and bacon pizza. And don't forget to pair it with our irresistible shareables, mozzarella sticks, jalapeno poppers, or golden potato wedges. The perfect bite to complement your meal. Find the nearest location or order delivery at roundtablepizza.com.
Hi, I'm Jason Thompson, and I've represented folks here in San Antonio injured by negligent drivers for more than 30 years. If you or a family member has been seriously injured, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson, at 210-900-0400. I've heard from many of my clients that after they were involved in a collision, they would get phone calls asking them to hire an attorney. This is highly irregular and probably illegal. Any attorney that is trying to contact you either directly or through a marketing company is not the kind of attorney that you should trust with such a serious matter. Quite frankly, it's creepy. If you call me, we will speak directly. If you hire me, it will be after you and I have talked. I will explain what I can do for you, and you can decide what you would like me to do next. The phone call and the consultation are free. Getting a smart result requires that you make smart decisions along the way, and that's my job, to help you and your family make smart decisions, and that's based on more than 30 years of experience. If you've been injured in an accident, call me, Jason Thompson, at 210-900-0400, or go to my website, alawyerforus.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Wow! Most cars and pickup trucks can have a ceramic film installed by the experts at Mother's Window Tint starting at just $199. That's an incredible price. If you shop around, you'll find that competitors charge hundreds of dollars more. Plus, it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. Mother's Window Tint offers up to 60 different film options to fit all price ranges. Since 1984, Mother's Window Tint has been known as the home of the tint and alarm special. If you're looking to enhance your vehicle security to the highest level, visit Mother's Window Tint today, where security systems start at just $3.99. Call us at 210-496-3454. That's 210-496-3454. Or visit us online at motherswindowtint.com. And remember, do it at Mothers and save!
With basketball season in full swing, make watching the game a little bit more exciting with your chance to win money with Underdog, one of the leading sports apps, and you can play in Texas. You could win up to 1,000 times your money with Underdog, playing the pick'em game where you pick higher or lower on predicted stats. You can play with as little as $1, and if you get everything right on your pick'em entry, you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Yep, turn $1 into 1,000 with your hoops knowledge. Download the Underdog app and sign up using my promo code STAR to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona and Massachusetts, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We're still working that trouble spot on Fresno westbound right at I-10 on the frontage road. That wreck is blocking a left lane. 151 westbound 410, that's a stall now off to the shoulder. On 35 southbound FM 1103 on down to Thousand Oaks. That's a 25-minute ride. 30 minutes on 90 eastbound 211 on over to Hunt Lane. I-10 eastbound Bernie Stage Road to 1604 should take you about 15 minutes. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
The San Antonio Spurs sit at 23-28 on the year as they prepare for the end of the ceremonial first half. It's All-Star Game weekend, and Wemby and Chris Paul will be busy. Spurs take on the Celtics tonight at 6 p.m. in Boston, game on ESPN. The Saints have a coach. They're finalizing a deal with former Cowboys and Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. Moore is 36 coming off the Super Bowl win with the Eagles. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Talk.
This Sports Center update brought to you by Twin Peaks.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Third hour of the program, Morning Huddle 94.1. We'll give away some Los Lonely Boy tickets during this hour. For those, we're rewarding your loyalty. If you listen in the 8 o'clock hour, you'll have a chance to win Los Lonely Boys tickets for Sunday at the Aztec Theater. Monster trucks, Los Lonely Boys, and boobies. Sunday. That'd be cool if Los Lonely Boys came out and there was a monster truck.
Right?
Yeah, and boobies.
Well, we saw a Grand National on the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, at the halftime he was performing.
Oh, yeah.
Stood on it.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, well, listen, when you got it, flaunt it.
Well, I mean, it's a nice vehicle.
Yeah.
You like that kind of thing.
Gilbert says, yeah, it was Curry 2009, Clay 2011, Dre 2012.
We went and looked. That's about as biblical a run as you can have, other than what the Spurs did early on. But
well, and what the Thunder / Sonics did.
Back-to-back Rookies of the Year.
It hasn't happened often. And in modern times, the most recent time, the only time it's happened since I've been alive to watch basketball was Minnesota drafting Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins in back-to-back years. That's it.
I mean, Wiggins has turned out, and certainly Big Cat's all right.
Yeah.
That's a claim to fame, but it didn't knock your socks off.
No. And Mario says Joakim Noah and Derrick Rose.
Come on.
Joakim Noah is listen, he's a fine basketball player, but that's like saying the Sixers took Allen Iverson and Keith Van Horn in back-to-back years. Like one of those things is not like the other.
Yeah, well, the sum total worked out, but really,
it's just not quite the same. Who'd the Spurs take on the other side of Duncan?
Oh man, that's a trivia question, I'm sure.
Let's see.
He was probably a Euro that drafted and stashed it. That's what the modus was back then.
It was a guy who was immediately traded to Vancouver. Felipe Lopez from St. John's.
Felipe, the greatest high school player in the history of man.
Yeah, traded to Vancouver, and then in the second round they took Derek Dial.
Derek Dial
from Eastern Michigan. So so Tim Duncan and Derek Dial is like.
See, that's pretty good. Actually,
yeah, actually, that's a good 2-year run.
A lot of points and a lot of championships. Derek added 2 or 3 points.
I'm sure he did at some
helped
point
with the personal foul count.
Yeah, I'm sure he had something to do with a win along the way.
Think about the combined Hall of Famers there. There's
probably. I don't know. I do know that draft was, if I'm not mistaken, that was the year that the Mavericks got Steve Nash and Dirk in the same Steve Nash was obviously already in the league, but they drafted Robert Traylor,
big man Traylor out of Michigan,
and they traded him for Dirk Nowitzki and Pat Garrity. He was a big schlub out of Notre Dame, and they turned around and traded Pat Garrity for Steve Nash. So they got Dirk and Steve Nash on the same day. Two future MVPs. Like that's pretty wild.
So my first time I saw Dirk Nowitzki, it was the All-Star game was here in San Antonio.
Okay.
And Dirk was still in Germany, and Nike had this hoop summit where they brought, it was the United States high schools All-Stars versus the internationals, the Euros. And there were the players that year, none of them turned out as far as going pro. A lot of them North Carolina guys that when you hear their names, you go, oh, yeah.
Anton Jameson, those types.
That crew. There was a bunch of names that you kind of vaguely remember. Well, Dirk Nowitzki showed up with his German crew and kicked our ass. I mean, we couldn't tell if we were terrible or this tall blonde dude was just amazing because he was taking that weird one-legged jump-off shot and doing things that didn't make any sense and just whooped us.
Yeah.
And everybody at the end of that thought, is he really, really good, like amazingly good, or are we that bad? Because what he did so well, no one had ever done it like that. I mean, one-footed three-point shots and all this bizarro movements that we weren't accustomed to. Turns out it was him.
Yeah. He ends up
as brilliant a draft pick as ever been made.
Solid sports player.
Well, to draft the German kid that looked like him the way that they did, I mean, that's utter brilliance. That's Don Nelson's kid that made that pick.
Someone tweeted at me, Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning.
Pretty good tandem.
Solid.
I'll take those
That was
two.
solid back in the day, and that was like for a basically an expansion franchise. It was like
I'll take those two for both basketball and war.
Yeah, if we're fighting,
if we're going to fight, I'll
give me
take
those
two
guys
as well.
Give me those guys. That's funny. Yeah, in 1992 was the year that that was Shaq #1, and then everyone was like saying that because the Hornets had just drafted Larry Johnson, everybody's like, they got to pair him with Christian Laettner. That was the big how could they take this big schlub out of Georgetown? Big schlub out of Georgetown ended up being all right.
Yeah,
Probably a little better than Christian Laettner. In fact, I'm not sure, but I think Alonzo Mourning might still be in the league on the end of the Heat bench. I'm not sure.
Him and Udonis Haslem.
Yeah,
just
they're hanging out,
sharing a uniform,
catching a check, just vibing. That's what they do. All right. Elsewhere in the world of sports, the Cowboys find themselves suddenly back in the news. Why, you ask? Because Dak Prescott got himself to talking. I got to see if I can find my Dak, find it on my board here. I know I've got Dak sound.
He's a confident man.
He is a confident man. Where's my... Hey, Vic. Oh, here we go. I found it.
Okay.
I found it. Don't worry. I don't need you.
All right. I'll just stay over here.
Dak was at a children's cancer fundraiser in Dallas, which I'm against children's cancer, so Dak and I are on the same page there.
Bloody do-gooder.
Yeah. Like, I don't like cancer at all, but I especially don't like it in kids. That's the worst. So here's some of the things they asked. First thing they asked him was, how's the leg? How's your old wheel holding up?
For sure, my health is good. Doing a lot more. Getting there. I think I'm 12 weeks or so out of surgery now, so I'm really looking to amp it up here recently. Got all my confidence, and we'll be fine.
Terrible, Bob. Terrible. I'm feeling awful.
Yeah, my leg is
barely walk. I
falling
went fishing the other day. I had to wear that foot thing all day long. It's not looking good.
And then they got into the good stuff. First of all, they asked about how's Dak feeling about the new head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. How's he feel about the Shoddy hire?
Excited for him, this opportunity. Obviously, I've worked with him for the last couple of years, understanding the type of coach he is, the type of man he is, the way that he approaches the game. I think the best way to exemplify that is the son of a legendary football coach. He's not going to take anything about this game lightly. He enjoys the work in it. Kind of old-fashioned. I'm looking forward to the grind and some things that we're going to do and he's going to add. And excited for him. I know he's ready for it. He's been an assistant for a long time, and something else I admire is the way that he went on with the interviewing process. When you've been an assistant for 25 to 30 years, I know there's a quarterback coach, I know there's a receiver coach, a deep coordinator, and a safety that you can call up without them thinking twice and they're going to come work for you. But for him to go through the due diligence of getting the guys in, interviewing them, and then taking it amongst the other guys that are there and making final decisions, I think speaks highly of his approach and the way that he's going to take care of things.
I always ask myself, anytime I hear a coach or a player talk, and they're asked a question, is there a world where you could picture them answering the opposite? And usually the answer is no. Like there's something you've just got to say.
Right.
Like, what do you think about your new head coach?
Oh.
I think there's the sky's the limit. Like, what can you say? Well, it sucks to lose McCarthy because this guy's way less prepared to be an NFL head coach. You can't say that. So far you're hearing Dak say all the things you expect him to say. They then asked him, what about having tough conversations with Shoddy?
Yeah, I mean, I think just naturally it's kind of already happened. I know he alluded to, the interception at practice, and me giving it back to him, and, it was a great moment of I understand, and I appreciate that sense of standard is, we're not accepting one play to come out, but at my point, hey, where did I get my risk versus reward? But that was a conversation that was very unpleasant at the front end, but it had to be addressed at some point or another, and it was immediately after practice, and it was two grown men coming to an understanding and appreciating each other for the competitiveness and the standard. And so I'm excited for things like that to grow, and not only just me in the quarterback position, but throughout every position on our team.
There's a lot in there.
Yeah.
I wonder what was
going
said.
back to the old. I know they had like there was disgruntled discussion between them after a practice. I remember hearing about that last year.
And I'm sure Dak was like, "Who are you?" Kind of, "Who are you?" The thing that obviously he's throwing flowers, and I don't expect him to say anything.
Sure.
But one thing that does strike me is there's absolutely no mention of scheme. He didn't say, "Man, I can't wait to do the things he wants to do." His ideas, I think, are unique. He didn't mention that.
No.
Which that is the only concern about that. I mean, I'm concerned about a lot of stuff, but I'd like to hear my quarterback go, there's some things that he's wanted to do I can't wait to do.
Well, they did ask him about what the offense is going to look like there with Shoddy.
Honestly, I think he spoke on it in the press conference, right? And then following this year, we just got to get to running the ball, being a little bit more, consistent on that. And then from there, go back and look at the numbers. I've always enjoyed play-action pass, so just being able to get back to that. But you got to start with the run game. And when you have that, the rest of the offense can open up. We saw that this one more.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that.
How many quarterbacks are happy they're going to run the ball more? I mean, in their heart of hearts.
I don't know.
It's like you're interviewing me, and I'm leading the team in scoring. You go, we hired a new coach, and man, I cannot wait to pass the ball more.
I will say this. I mean, Josh Allen said that before this season.
Well, no, you have to be a vet to go, you know what? My life would be a whole lot better if it was 2nd and 4.
Yeah, I'm sure Lamar Jackson liked running the ball with Derrick Henry. I'm sure that wasn't bad. But the problem is the Cowboys are not built to do those
really
things.
Equipped for the plan, but at least he knows he'll be handing the ball off and won't be hit as much.
And then finally, this is the home run of the whole Dak conversation. They asked him, "How close are you guys to the Eagles? How close are you to the team that just won a Lombardi Trophy?"
I mean, I feel like we compete with the Eagles and beat them for the most part when we played them. I don't want to say check the record when they're the guys holding the trophy right now. So credit to them. They've earned it and they deserved it by all means. But, yeah, very close, especially even watch the NFC game, the NFC Championship. And those two teams that we battle against each and every year a couple of times. And, as I said, feel confident about we've gotten the better part each and every time. To see it in such a dominating fashion, credit to them. It's our turn and it's on us.
It's our turn.
I'm going to defend Dak on this.
Okay.
Because as far as he's concerned, I just looked. He's 9-4 since 2016 over the Eagles.
Okay.
As an Aggie, people go, man, how can you talk about Texas the way you do? They've kicked your ass your entire lives. Not when I was there.
Yeah, you were there for a good little run.
And Dak's kind of like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm 9-4 against these cats. I kind of get what he's saying.
But also, they've been to the Super Bowl twice in the last 4 years.
No, he's not eating the entire pie, but the slice is, you're playing the Eagles, you worried about him? He's like, dude, I whip them. I'm 9-4. What kind of question is that? Now, sum total, hell yeah, they're a lot better. But me, over my life, I'm not that worried about them because I have beaten them far more times than I've lost to them. So I get that answer, and I appreciate that from him. But let's be realistic. You are miles behind Philadelphia.
Man, yeah, especially like when you look at what they are in the trenches, like it's just not even it's not even a discussion right now.
I like the fact that you're aspiring to do what they're doing and running the ball and power football. I like that you're trying to copy it, but you ain't them, and you're a long way from them.
Well, they went out and got a Saquon Barkley. That also helps.
His name is Ashton Genty.
No, Ashton Genty ain't Saquon
Does it
Barkley.
roll off the tongue like Saquon Barkley?
No,
Ashton
it's not quite
Genty.
the same.
No.
All right, let's hit a break. We'll continue our discussion. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
I hope you woke up this morning, washed yourself clean underneath a Connecticut water-softened shower. If that's you, carry on about your day. You're doing things the right way. For those of us that didn't jump on early or need a little bit of convincing or quite frankly just don't know, listen close. Connecticut water softeners are a ubiquitous name around San Antonio and South Texas for a long time for one very important reason. What they make works for what we do in Central and South Texas. See, the water coming up from the aquifer, it comes with some stuff in there that makes some nice sweet tea and some good light beer. But I'll tell you what, the sediment that's left over, you can see it. I don't care what your water softener is. If you don't have a Connecticut, you can see it. You see the powder on the dishes. You see that white stuff. You can feel it on your skin. You ever look at your dog dish and see that stuff on the edges? That's stuff that you're drinking, and so is your dog. If you had a Connecticut, you wouldn't be worried about that. See, a Connecticut water softener stops the problem before it even gets in your house. It works on kinetic energy. You don't even plug it in. It doesn't even have a computer. Not a lot of things, you don't brag about that, but I'll tell you what, do you need a computer to filter your water? I don't think so. All you got to do is have something that works and works every time. And a Connecticut works every time. I haven't never had to use my warranty. I understand it's a good one. I just haven't had to use it. That can be you. And here's the deal. If you've never had one nor had the ability to try, you've never had a better opportunity than now. You can have a Connecticut in your home for the next 90 days without a single question. They'll come out and put one in. All you got to do is call them today, and they'll come out and do it. And when you decide to buy after that 90 days, they're going to throw in a reverse osmosis drinking station just for making the smartest decision you've made for your home. So what do? Well, you can dial 656-PURE right this minute. If you need more details, and you should, go to ConnecticutSA.com for all the details. Listen close. There's never been a better opportunity to get the very best in your home. Call Connecticut today. Get one of those fine water softeners. Add that reverse osmosis drinking station. And I'm sure you'll skip on by and thank me later.
Right now, get up to a $15 gift card after rebate when you purchase select Superstart batteries exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
America's Diamond has never sold lab-grown diamonds, and we warned our clients, friends, and neighbors that wholesale prices would crash to almost nothing. 2-carat GVS2 lab-grown diamonds are currently being traded at wholesale for $264, but some jewelers are still selling them online for $3,000 to $4,000. Repeat, wholesale $264, retail $3,000 to $4,000. Some retailers are selling 1-carat lab-grown diamonds for under $300, and others are giving them away for free with purchase. Lab-grown diamonds are very easy to detect with gemological equipment. Tens of millions of carats are produced in huge factories in China and India, using a tremendous amount of subsidized electricity supplied by coal-burning power plants. America's Diamond has only offered traditional, real, natural earth-grown diamonds that are rare, extremely beautiful, and have had real value for centuries. See our television program tonight on ABC KSAT 12 at 12:35 a.m. or right now at americasdiamond.com.
Hi, I'm Jason Thompson, and I've represented folks here in San Antonio injured by negligent drivers for more than 30 years. If you or a family member has been seriously injured, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson, at 210-900-0400. I've heard from many of my clients that after they were involved in a collision, they would get phone calls asking them to hire an attorney. This is highly irregular and probably illegal. Any attorney that is trying to contact you either directly or through a marketing company is not the kind of attorney that you should trust with such a serious matter. Quite frankly, it's creepy. If you call me, we will speak directly. If you hire me, it will be after you and I have talked. I will explain what I can do for you, and you can decide what you would like me to do next. The phone call and the consultation are free. Getting a smart result requires that you make smart decisions along the way, and that's my job, to help you and your family make smart decisions, and that's based on more than 30 years of experience. If you've been injured in an accident, call me, Jason Thompson, at 210-900-0400, or go to my website, alawyerforus.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites.
Guys, if you're not feeling like yourself anymore, testosterone therapy may be the answer. Look for the VIP treatment like you'll get with the TRT experts at Synergenics Testosterone and Weight Loss. Synergenics has over a decade of TRT experience. Book your appointment at synergenicshealth.com.
Summer or winter, Texas weather doesn't do anything halfway, and neither should your roofer. You need a local roofer you can trust. That is Stevens Roofing. You know, Texas roofs are not designed for freezing weather. When ice and snow melt, water seeps into the little cracks, then refreezes, creating bigger cracks. That means leaks or maybe worse. Don't wait to see what damage has occurred. Call Stevens Roofing today for a free inspection. 210-785-0994. That's 210-785-0994 for Stevens Roofing.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, more Cowboys talk with our good friend from Blogging the Boys, R.J. Ochoa.
Plus, Spurs have the Celtics tonight, their final game before the All-Star break.
Can they get a dub before they head off on vacation?
And if you want a dub Friday for Valentine's Day, we might be able to help you out. The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Whoa, well. When you want to go to it, relax. Don't do it when you want to come. Is this the original of this song?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Frankie goes to Holly.
Yeah.
Is this
It's Holly Johnson singing.
Falco?
No, Holly Johnson is the singer.
Rock Me Amadeus?
Is it the same guy?
No, very different. That's Holly Johnson. He did Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Okay.
Falco only did that one song.
Okay. They sound similar, though.
I was never a fan.
Of this guy or
This
Falco?
song.
Oh.
This song in particular.
Okay. This song gets sampled a lot.
It's of an age.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, everything gets sampled now.
Frankie say relax.
Let's take a look at the odds on a couple of these things. NFL wise, next teams. We were talking about Aaron Rodgers during the break. You said the Jets came to him with a couple of requests.
They sat down last week, and this is according to the Bleacher Report. They met with Rodgers, and they had only 2 requests for him to stay. This was Aaron Glenn and the crew. No more weekly spots on Pat McAfee. And he has to be at every minicamp.
And he was like, well, I have a drug trip planned with Pat McAfee.
And there's no report as to what his response was, other than he is now either going to be cut or traded.
Well,
so we assume that he was not going to give in on the...
the answer was F you, Jets.
I'm going to be licking frogs in El Salvador, first minicamp.
The odds are out for Aaron Rodgers' next team. Here are your favorites. The favorite at 2-1, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Nah, I just don't see that happening.
Doesn't seem like a great
Tomlin's
culture fit.
I think everybody's saying it's because Tomlin and Rodgers won't get along. Tomlin has coached some crazy dudes. I mean, you can't be an NFL coach this long and not dealt with some difficult and interesting cats. It ain't that. They just don't need what he got.
Raiders 3-1.
They're my clubhouse favorite. Well, I have 2 early favorites, and I think both of them even, but Raiders would be the most fun destination.
Niners plus 350.
I hadn't even considered that possibility. Do you think Shanahan has the gravitas to?
All I know is the Niners are about to have to make a decision on what kind of money to give to Brock Purdy. And it is going to be a literal career-defining decision for a lot of people, including probably Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, and Lynch is going to be on the hook for this too, yeah.
But if you pay Brock Purdy like he's the real deal and he turns out to be fool's gold, I mean, that you're cooked. And if you don't pay him and he goes and erupts somewhere else and you don't have a viable secondary option, then you're cooked.
What does your gut say?
My gut says I would never pay Brock Purdy top 5-10 quarterback money. I think it's crazy to do it. I think if you if you said who's more important to the Niners' success, Kyle Shanahan or Brock Purdy, it's not even close. It's Kyle Shanahan. Brock Purdy's probably the 6th best player on the 49ers, and you would have to pay him like.
That's what you say. What do you think is going to happen?
I think they're going to pay him.
I think they're going to pay him, but not like. I think they're going to pay him more than you think he's worth, but not nearly what he thinks he's worth.
I think he will be paid at like a top 10 quarterback.
We still haven't said my destination. I still think that there's another team out there that's angry.
All right, I got 3 more. Minnesota 4-1.
Why?
Well, because they're going to lose Wreck-It Ralph.
At some point, McCarthy's going to have to play.
I agree.
So why?
The Tennessee Titans plus 750.
I think it's going to be Tennessee.
Okay. Boy, Nashville seems kind of
well, it's podunk, it's flyover, and they'll love having Aaron Rodgers.
He's been in Green Bay before. So.
Yeah, but they will love having him. They'll be happy to have an Aaron Rodgers come to Nashville. Oh, Aaron, come on down. Let's celebrate. I'm telling you, it seems like a match that's a little weird, but that's a pretty good get for the Titans. You know what I mean? It's a big name. It'll sell some tickets for what is a boring team.
And you won't have to and he can
have
teach Will Levis play.
All of his knowledge. He can give it all to the future that is Will Levis.
And the Indianapolis Colts plus 850.
You know, that would actually make a little bit more sense than all of them, but that's not going to happen.
Here are some odds for Devontae Adams, who appears to be on his way to being released by the Jets.
Why? Why would they do that?
I mean, why would you?
Unless he doesn't want to be there, and
I don't think he wants to be there.
Yeah,
but like, why would you want to keep him if you know you're not going anywhere?
Well, he's not that expensive. You got Wilson on the other side. You're going to have to coax along a young or at least a backup quarterback for a minute. You might as well give him a couple of weapons to play with. I would have just thought I'd have tried to make nice with the Devontae and given a couple money for a couple of years. You know,
do you know what his cap number is next year?
Oh, it's funny. I know.
$38.3 million.
Well, I'd have to restructure.
Well, so Devontae, like that was the thing. They said, "Do you want to renegotiate your contract?" And Devontae said,
"Oh,
no.
Hell no."
Like I don't, because why would he want to be there?
Yeah,
he thought when he went to the Jets, he thought they had a chance to do something.
I would just say, you'll get the same money. It's just going to take you a couple extra years to get it.
He's got to stop trying to hitch his wagon to that Aaron Rodgers.
Well,
that ain't that good. The odds for Devontae Adams with his next team.
Mm-hmm.
The favorite, 2-1, L.A. Chargers.
That makes perfect sense.
I agree.
It's brilliant.
Second favorite, 3-1. I don't see how this works from a financial standpoint, but we'll see. The L.A. Rams.
Well, they've done this before. They like old wide receivers.
Yeah.
So that would make some sense.
And they're talking about trading Cooper Kupp.
And they got a gap.
Maybe.
That's where if I was Devontae, that's where I'd want to go.
Oh, yeah. 350, San Francisco 49ers.
Debo about to leave. That's a good place to land, but they're not going to pay him. You'll get far less there.
4-1, the Green Bay Packers.
He ain't going
reunited, and it feels so good. No.
What do you think?
I mean, I think that it wouldn't be a bad move for him. Like he'd be the slam dunk number one.
That's why I asked.
The people there love him.
You were in Vegas while he was there.
Mm-hmm.
Is he the guy that was portrayed on the Netflix special, kind of a me? You know,
I don't think so. I never gathered that from him. Like I think that Devontae Adams tried to play good soldier for as long as he could, but he was frustrated that they sort of bamboozled him.
Yeah, he did get left eye.
Like they said, hey, you're coming here. He's like, I want to go play with Derek Carr. Well, come on, Bubba. And then they immediately shipped Derek Carr out and left it. Like, had they shipped Derek Carr out and had like a real alternative, it's one thing. But they're like, yeah, you're just going to play with Aiden O'Connell now. It's like, no, that's not what I came here for.
Why are you bitching? You got a Taco Bell in your house.
Yeah, and a golf course.
Shut
up. Plus 750, the Dallas Cowboys.
That's just crazy enough to happen. I mean, it legit is. It's just crazy enough for Jerry to apply the salve to his fans. Like, I know everything sucks, but I'm going to go overpay for a wide receiver. Let y'all talk about that for a minute. You know, that just feels like something he would do, especially on the heels of his quarterback and everybody around Shoddy going, we're going to go 500. We're going to go even.
We're going to run
We're
the
going to run
football.
the football. I love ball fakes. I love play action. And all. And we're going to go find Davante Adams, a guy who's demanding the ball 8 times a game.
And then plus 850, the Buffalo Bills.
Now, hey.
It's a great idea. I don't think it'll happen, but it's fun in theory to think about.
Because you're going to have to eat that whole contract, right?
Well, the assumption would be if he goes, because he'll be released. He'll either he'll be released or I doubt he'd be traded for that money. But yeah, it appears that the Jets are just going to have to move on, and then someone would sign him to a new deal. But yeah, I don't know what kind of deal Davante Adams is worth right now. Like, I don't think Davante Adams, I don't know, do you want to pay him for 3 years? I say yeah. Do I want to pay him for 5? No. So
I'd take 5 just because I could spread the money out. I could spread that signing bonus out or whatever I'm going to give him.
Yeah.
But I don't want him
you're
around
going to have
for
some
5
dud years at the end. You have to accept that.
You know what? He's a good piece to add to a good team. I don't know why Chiefs aren't being considered in this conversation. I mean, he's a legitimate threat that still has tread on the tire. And is there another wide receiver out there like him?
Well, T. Higgins is the other. T. Higgins is probably going to be the biggest in free agency.
That's the best thing that could happen to Davante. He's going to drive the market. I think that he's going to get his money and land someplace good. I do. I mean, those guys are hard to come by.
Apparently, he would prefer to be on the West Coast. And I guess that's what the odds are saying with San Francisco, or the 2 LA teams in San Francisco, the top 3 in the odds.
The best for him would be the Chargers.
I think so too, man. What a landing spot to play with a quarterback like that. I mean, the Rams would be good too because you've got McVay there. I don't know. There's a lot of good options. I can't imagine San Francisco works because, if San Francisco had not paid Brandon Ayuk, which they shouldn't have,
right?
They let him just say, okay, we'll beat it then. Then you'd be like, okay, well, now let's bring in Davante.
He'd be more protected with the Rams with Nacua on the other side, but he would be a Pro Bowler with the Chargers because he would be the dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'd get the touchdowns.
Oh, yeah. And, he's got a quarterback with all the arm in the world. It's like a lot of possibilities. And he'd be the same thing in Buffalo. He'd be the man.
Well, that's the I just want a ring move. I'll take listen. I want to go get a ring.
Yeah, I mean, that's of the teams that are I don't know. I still feel like the Niners deserve to be. I bet. If I had to make a bet today, who's going to win the NFC West next year? It'd be the 49ers.
Yeah.
I think they had a lot of negative health stuff happen this year, but I still think that team is going to be really good.
The only reason I don't go to the 49ers if I'm him is I don't know the quarterback situation.
That's
Purdy
true.
Could be gone, could be here. I don't know. I don't want to get into anywhere where I have to worry about that ever again.
Because he has not had any stability since he left Aaron Rodgers. And, you go to Buffalo, you know who the quarterback's going to be.
No doubt.
Go to the Chargers, you know who their quarterback is going to be. You go to Dallas, you know who their quarterback is going to be. Now, good or bad, however you want to take those things, you know who's going to be there at least, and that there's something to that.
I'll tell you, Jerry talking, he'd fit real well with the Cowboys. He has the Cowboy mentality.
Yeah, he and CeeDee Lamb. You talk about being two guys, that's 2 of the 5-10 best receivers in the league.
It would be so counter to everything they've been telling us, but then again, they told us they were all in last year. So
right.
Tell us we're going to run the ball. We're going to run the ball, and we're going to go sign Davante Adams.
I can't even imagine. Yeah, but Rams, Chargers, 49ers, the top of his list. Packers, Cowboys, Bills, outside shots.
The ultimate revenge would be to get a giant contract from the Packers. The ultimate.
Yeah. Either way, Davante Adams still has enough game that he's going to be okay wherever he lands. All right, let's hit a break. We'll wrap up the third hour of the program, and we'll give away some Los Lonely Boys tickets when we come back. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1. Oh, it's my turn here. I got to tell you about Cerebral. If my mental health game was better, I would have known it was my turn here, and that's where Cerebral comes in. Cerebral is making mental health more accessible, more affordable for everybody. So if you're one of these people who, if you sit around looking at your phone for a while, you're going to see, oh, man, this guy, there's bad news here. There's, bombings. There's death. Everything's terrible. Oh, except for my buddy Carl, who got a new job and a hot wife who got new parts put in. And he got a new car on top. Oh, Carl's got a great life. What if you stopped worrying about what everybody else is doing and started worrying about yourself? Spend about 45 minutes just focused in on how you're doing. And at Cerebral, they make it easier than ever to access dedicated therapists and doctor-prescribed medication personalized to you. Cerebral's proud to be an official sponsor of the Spurs. Just like athletes prioritize their physical health, mental health is just as important, and Cerebral's here to help you build a strong foundation for your overall well-being. Take the first step today. Visit Cerebral.com to see how affordable and accessible mental health care can be with your insurance. Cerebral, make time for Mind Time.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Still working that accident on the north side on Fresno Street westbound at I-10 on the frontage road. This wreck is blocking the left lane. 35 southbound FM 1103 to Thousand Oaks. That's going to take you about 20 minutes to get through. 25 minutes on 90 eastbound 211 to Hunt Lane, and about a 10-minute drive on I-10 eastbound Bernie Stage Road on over to 1604. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Guess what? Discover's accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. You heard right, 99%. If you don't think so, maybe it's time to face facts. You're stuck in the past. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report, learn more at discover.com/creditcard.
George gets justice. After being hit by an 18-wheeler, the experienced attorneys of George Salinas Injury Lawyers are San Antonio's choice for getting you the maximum compensation you deserve. With over 110 years of combined experience, they've recovered millions for their clients. 18-wheelers may be bigger than you on the road, but you can be bigger than them in the courtroom. George guarantees that you don't pay unless they win your case. Call 210-225-0909 today for a free consultation. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Emily Neal's 70-inch TV. Because after watching her second-grade students yell at each other for hours, there's nothing Emily enjoys more than watching super-rich housewives also yell at each other. Why? Because those women are not her responsibility. And that's why her TV is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Oh, yeah. SRS says, as a Niners fan, the girls, I guess he means the Cowboys, would be very smart to sign D. Adams, draft a running back in the first round to take pressure off Dakota, and with the remaining picks, draft O-line and more O-line.
That's way too smart, SRS. Stick with your 49erdom.
And as a Niners fan, I'd love to have Devontae Adams, and we would be smart to draft O-line and more O-line. Yeah, pretty much everybody needs to draft more and more O-line. That's the theme.
Well, everybody says that.
Nobody likes to do it.
Everybody says that until Travis Hunter's on the board and you go, he can defend.
He's the best wide receiver and the best quarterback. No, he's not. Liar. Such a lie. But listen, man, these guys get paid lots of money, and then when it all falls apart, we go, well, maybe they should have drafted more offensive line.
And who was
it? But almost every fan, when their team drafts an offensive lineman, they boo.
Oh,
that's the way it works.
The legend of Stephen pinning Jerry to the wall and taking the Johnny football card from his hand and handing him the Travis Frederick. That's legend. We'd like to think that's true. I hope it was.
All right, let's go to the Buyers Barricade guest line. We heard his intro music, and then I started rambling. But Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti joins us here. Dr. Garrett, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Yeah, that intro music gets you hyped up, and you kind of forget what you're doing.
I know. We got
I'm sorry. Yeah, got all worked up.
Yeah.
Talking about Devonta Adams. The possibilities are endless. Let's jump into this kind of the story of the week in my mind was the Lakers and the Hornets having a deal in place where they're trading this guy named Mark Williams, and he gets to the Lakers and they say, well, he didn't pass the physical, so the trade's off. In your mind, could there be some sort of a way where if you have buyer's remorse, like if your fans react poorly to a trade or something, that, like, do you think that there are doctors out there who, like, the team would just say, hey, make sure this guy doesn't pass his physical, and you could find a way to not pass a guy?
There are yes men in every organization and every level and every different type of practice and profession. So yes, absolutely, there's a possibility. Now I wouldn't say that because that would be, basically saying malpractice and saying he's ethically unwell. But theoretically, yes, that could happen.
It's not a lie if you believe it, Doc. And when you see this, and with Mark Williams in specific, and when you go through these, give us an idea what a team physical is like. What are they going through? I mean, is it just like, are they, turn your head and cough? What's your heart rate? I mean, what exactly are they looking at? Obviously, previous injuries, stressing some of the other stuff, but I mean, how intense is a team physical?
Yeah, they look at his track record, see how many games he's missed and why he's missed them for different injuries, and so they're going to focus on those. So if he's got a history of, low back injuries, they're going to make sure they do a lot of orthopedic testing on the low back. They may even do, invasive procedures like MRIs or ultrasounds and look for any dysfunctional things in there that could cause a bigger injury. They're obviously going to look at his heart, his lungs, his neurologic system, make sure his brain's functioning well. So they test all these things, and most of them are a pretty easy pass. So to fail a physical where you've been playing in the NBA is pretty uncommon unless they find something that is just really unusual.
What the Lakers are saying is the issues that he failed the physical for are not the issues that that Carolina had told him that he had. So they found other reasons to fail him other than the ones that could have potentially failed him, like his lower back problems. So it does feel like there's some other alternative maybe ideas other than completing the trade on the Lakers' end.
Yeah, LeBron probably just didn't like him.
That could be the case.
You know what?
Speaking of those Lakers, they move on from Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis looks really awesome to start his Mavericks career, and then Anthony Davis does what he usually does when he's looking awesome. He gets hurt. An adductor strain, out multiple weeks. Give us an idea of what this injury is in layman's term, and is it something that could haunt him for the rest of the season?
Yeah, this is a groin pull. So anybody who's ever pulled their groin muscle, it's just like a hamstring. It's a long muscle. Instead of pulling your leg backwards, it brings your legs together, and it functions with the hamstring, with the quad. And so when it gets hurt, it's extremely painful. You can't really play through it. Usually it takes somewhere between 6 and 8 weeks for it to heal if you go through the normal process. You can accelerate that quite a bit with some really aggressive manual therapy, get that down to 2 to 3 weeks. But with a guy like him who is always hurt, I would expect them to probably take more of the 8-week approach because more likely than not, whenever he comes back, he's going to hurt himself some other way. So if I were the Mavericks, I would for sure have buyer's remorse going forward.
Dr. Jason Garrett joining us for his weekly house call. Doc, when you're dealing with guys that are, coming off of injuries and getting better. I heard Dak yesterday talking at an event. He said, I'm 12 weeks out of surgery, and I'm right on schedule. Well, what is 12 weeks out of surgery look like with Dak in that leg, and what is schedule? What should he be doing right about now?
I mean, really, 12 weeks out, so 3 full months, as long as you're able to walk and put weight on it and you're on schedule, the more stress you can put on it, the better without overdoing it. So, I mean, they literally have him in rehab every single day. He's probably doing more than one session. He's doing strength training. He's seeing the doctor, make sure there's no infections, there's no other issues that pop up from it, but also making sure that all the muscles around there, all the areas that you've been working, don't try to compensate. So making sure that you're equally distributing your weight to your other leg, that you're not leaning more on it and creating a new issue with the good side.
The other injury that the Mavericks have hit into is this Daniel Gafford situation with he's now got a sprained right knee. They're saying they're going to reevaluate him in 2 weeks. When you have a knee sprain and you're a giant man who relies on explosiveness, does 2 weeks, does that seem like, I guess reevaluating him, but what's the general timeline for something like that?
Yeah, most sprains, it's usually the MCL. I'm not sure exactly what he's got going on. If it's a meniscus issue, it can be day to day, it can be week to week, may need surgery, but a sprain of the knee is usually the MCL. And if it's a mild sprain, you could literally play through that if it's the playoffs, or give it a couple weeks to rest until it feels really good. If it's like a grade 3, grade 4, and there's some partial tearing in there, then you've got to really shut it down. The fact that they're saying 2 weeks and reevaluate probably means it's like a grade 1, grade 2, which is something you can play through, and it heals pretty fast.
Well, if it's 2 weeks and we reevaluate, what goes on during this 2 weeks? Is there any rehabbing going at all, or is it just, the rice kind of thing, the ice, heat, and we'll wait and see in a couple of weeks? Is he doing anything to get better?
Yeah, so the next 2 weeks, every day he's going to be functionally loading that as much as possible, because the body heals really well when you load tissue along lines of stress, as long as there's not a full tear. So if there's a partial tear, there's a sprain, there's a muscle damage, whatever, the more you load that in a way that's safe, but as much as you can possibly take, the faster it's going to heal. So he's going to be on a bike, he's going to be doing squats, lunges, deadlifts, all the things that load that tissue without putting it in an explosive position where he can tear it. Rest and ice is kind of the worst thing you can do unless the tissue is completely torn. Yeah.
All right. That is Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. We appreciate the time, Doc. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Doc.
There you go,
I
Dr.
tend to,
Garrett.
I like the rested. Like when you get a cold and you like baby it.
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing? Oh, I'm resting.
Any injury, resting is always fun.
I feel like that's the best thing I could have done.
But that's also why you're not a professional athlete.
That's exactly why. That's why I'm resting right now.
Yeah. You could have,
I'm prepping for my pro career.
You wasted a bunch of potential because all you wanted to do was rest.
Well, yeah, but I'm good at it.
You're masterful.
I'm better on IR than anything else.
Masterful, even. I almost asked him about, I guess Pledger puts these together, and he put in there that something about Lance McCullers. I don't believe Lance McCullers is a real person anymore.
He's got a new injury. What's on the dial for McCullers' injuries?
Yeah, I'm so it's like, oh, Lance McCullers could potentially return by the end of April. It's like, stop it.
No, wait, another lower leg injury.
Oh, another elbow. How many elbows do you have? Because it feels like you got 3 injured elbows at once. That doesn't even make sense. Lance McCullers.
Those guys keep guys like Garrett employed.
Think
what are you talking about? He's my best client.
Lance McCullers, and that's the beauty of baseball is, imagine I got a check every 2 weeks. I got paid the same, but I hadn't done a radio show since 2022. And my paychecks were always clearing, always the same, never docked pay.
Lucky.
And every now and then you'd leak a video of you in front of a mic.
Yeah.
I'm getting better. I'll be back next year.
It'd be a still photo. It'd be this.
Just like you leaning into it. Grinding every day to get back. No. Where are you? Well, I've been rehabbing in Hawaii. I'm grinding.
I don't like to talk about the details of my recovery, but it's happening.
All everybody sees is what happens when the lights on, but success happens when the lights are off. Normally I'm asleep, but that's when it happens.
I go home, I do my saltwater gurgle. I drink hot tea with lemon. And, I'm working on my tools to try and get back out there.
Every year I have to decide, do I want to go through this rigors one more time? And it's hard.
Is it worth it? Is it worth it? And the answer is yes.
And I face another season of this.
And then what I'm going to do is when I do come back, I'm gonna have about 6 months of really great radio shows, and I'm going to say, I think it's time to re-sign me. And then they'll re-sign me, and I'll be out again.
No, what you do is, you just go, it's the morning.
The morning.
He's out. He's hurt.
Good boy.
Oh, no. He ruined a vocal cord. He's out for 8 months.
Oh.
Damn
me. That'd be me. Ren says the Ben Simmons of radio. That's right. I would be the Ben Simmons of radio. I wish I could get away with that. I wish. I would have slept in today, Rob. But
he is indeed.
I would have because today I would have said I'm resting. I've got to rest it today. Don't call me. Only text.
I Rob almost called in this morning.
I get load management. I'm load managing today. I almost called in today.
I know.
Oh, I would have been pissed if you called in today.
I walked in. I go, if it wasn't for the abuse that I know that I was going to take, this was a rough get up this morning.
I felt miserable too when I got up. So if I would have gotten up and drug my ass here, feeling like garbage, and you weren't here, I would have been pissed.
I was like, dude,
people would have been texting you asking if you're okay because I said Rob must be dead. He's got to be dead, otherwise he'd be here.
I was near death about 3 a.m.
Did you bring your own toilet paper with you in your little purse?
I don't need toilet paper.
Oh, nice.
Ain't nothing to wipe.
It's
just you just shake.
This stuff is blasting feet from my body. This is not it's a whole other story.
All right, let's give away some Los Lonely Boys tickets. You know what? Let's give them to somebody on the Brigade Bar to reward them for their patience this morning.
They sat in darkness.
They sat in darkness. Yeah, it was sad. It was a really hard time for them. What should we do? What would we talk about that we could recall? Something important that happened.
A distant memory. What happened as we
I know.
We all have short-term memory.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got nothing.
I got nothing either. What have we done today?
Nothing. Just talk.
I've got big plans.
What kind of plans?
I don't know.
You gonna go out and take a nap?
Couldn't be. Well, yeah. But it's just getting started. But so far, I don't have enough on my scorecard to be proud of that they could look back on.
Let's see here. That is true. I've got. You know what? I got something here. Okay. I said there were 3 teams last year who won 20 or in the 20s of basketball games in the Western Conference, between 20 and 29. Memphis, we know, is back in the playoff hunt. There's the Spurs. You name the other team, first person to name that other team, you get to go see Los Lonely Boys. That's February 16th at the Aztec Theater. The other team that had the 21 wins last year in the Western Conference in the NBA. You'll go see Los Lonely Boys on Sunday, and hopefully you're not a lonely boy then. All right. 1 hour left in a special Hump Day edition of the Morning Huddle. We'll be back. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You're locked on the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. KTFM Floresville.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's Breakfast. Freshen up your morning with a Wendy's Breakfast, like a breakfast Baconator, or a grilled sausage breakfast burrito, or even a Honey Buddy. Ready for a fresh wake-up call? Gotta be Wendy's. Available at participating U.S. Wendy's.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention, which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When your business needs an electrician, for over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. Powered by relationships with dedicated estimators who analyze the issue, research cost-effective solutions, and clearly communicate the options without charging you a dime. A proven process that allows you to continue focusing on your unique purpose. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or hill-electric.com.
Pizza craving? We've got you covered at Round Table Pizza. We've been crafting pizzas with premium, high-quality ingredients for over 60 years. From our made-from-scratch dough to our savory toppings piled all the way to the edge. Find your nearest location or order delivery at roundtablepizza.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Friday is Valentine's Day, so if you still have shopping to do, then it's time to get to Macy's, because we make finding the perfect gift so easy. How easy? We have last-minute gifts that feel truly thoughtful, like fragrance gift sets from Yves Saint Laurent, Carolina Herrera, and Marc Jacobs, boxed and ready to give. Yeah, it doesn't get much easier than that. So head to Macy's and make their Valentine's Day a little more special, and your life a little bit easier. But hurry in, because you're almost out of time. These deals end Friday at Macy's.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery. Ends President's Day. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
The best mornings in the morning light start with Wrangler. I pull on my jeans and I feel all right. Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started. Good mornings make for better days. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Still working that accident on the north side on Fresno Street westbound at I-10 on the frontage road. This wreck is blocking the left lane. 35 southbound FM 1103 to Thousand Oaks. That's going to take you about 20 minutes to get through. 25 minutes on 90 eastbound 211 to Hunt Lane, and about a 10-minute drive on I-10 eastbound Bernie Stage Road On over to 1604. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
The San Antonio Spurs sit at 23-28 on the year as they prepare for the end of the ceremonial first half. It's All-Star Game weekend, and Wemby and Chris Paul will be busy. Spurs take on the Celtics tonight at 6 p.m. in Boston, game on ESPN. The Saints have a coach. They're finalizing a deal with former Cowboys and Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. Moore is 36 coming off the Super Bowl win with the Eagles. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the final hour, friends. We've made it. Tomorrow will be Thursday, and everything's looking up from there, Bubba. Everything's going to be looking up.
Downhill.
You watch any college hoops last night?
I watched.
You watch your Texas Fighting Aggies?
I watched the terrible first half. I missed the good part. I saw they won. I watched Tennessee not make a single shot more than 15 feet away from the basket. And I watched the best team in the country, Florida, pull steadily away from Mississippi State.
Yeah, Mississippi State did everything right in the first half, and they let Florida go on a 20-0 run to start the second half. It's really hard to win when that happens.
If you're future better, man, I like Florida. They're looking better. They did that last night minus 2 starters.
Yeah.
On the road in the SEC. Respect.
And I had that game circled. I wanted 3. I never got 3. In fact, money came on Mississippi State, so it was almost a pick 'em by the time it tipped off. And
not even close, man.
Early on, it looked really good for Mississippi State. Mississippi State's a really good team and really well coached. They're kind of good at everything, but, man, Florida they got on fire, and that was the end of that.
They rebound well. Walter Clayton is an all-American guard. They're inside out. They look for better. They're a very good basketball team.
Auburn, the number 1 team in the country. It took them a while, but they pulled away from Vanderbilt, got an 80-68 win. On the road in Nashville, which is impressive. That's the other impressive thing. The top 3 teams in the country, Auburn, Alabama, and Florida, all got road wins and all dominant road wins. Alabama goes to Texas 103-80. And I'm telling you, Rob, it was about, I don't know, by halftime that place was empty.
It should have been.
They were out. Enough. Enough is enough. They'd seen enough. Beat it. The home teams, rest of the home teams had some success. Kentucky knocks off the 5th-ranked Tennessee Vols 75-64. Purdue falls at Michigan in probably the most exciting finish of the night. Michigan getting a buzzer beater to win 75-73. Your Ags, boy.
Start slow.
They looked terrible to start this game. They were down 9 at halftime. I think they were down 13 at one point in the second half, and they go on a crazy run and they win 69-53. I don't know how many halves the Aggies have played this year where they scored 46 points, but that's an offensive explosion for A&M.
They were sleepwalking to start the game. They're coming off. It hasn't been quantified, but I will say the win at Missouri against an undefeated home team like that. I mean, they hadn't lost at home. It's as big a win as Buzz has had, and it was as good a week as Buzz has had as a head coach. And Georgia was a trap. I mean, they come from on the road in Missouri against a top 12 team to Georgia, which might be the worst team in the SEC. If not, they're right down there.
No. South Carolina's dreadful.
They're right there beside each other.
I mean, they're 4-8 in the SEC.
They're not very good.
They're not very good, but they're not. I don't think they're.
This was a game that a fully functioning A&M team playing 2 halves wins that game by 25, and they should have. They sleptwalked through it, but they did wake up and go get it, which was a testament to an Aggie team that probably wouldn't have been able to do that a couple of years ago. It was as good a win as they could have gotten.
Iowa State went on the road and blew out Central Florida 77-65. Tom Izzo had a chance to break the record for Big Ten regular season wins. Break Bobby Knight's record. He had a chance to do it against Indiana at home, and Indiana beats Michigan State 71-67 in East Lansing.
Well, the fact of the matter is they stole one in California a couple of days ago, so he probably was right where he should be anyway.
All square now.
Yeah.
Kansas State gets a good home win over Arizona, 73-70.
That team's getting better.
I mean, they're just hard to beat in that building. If they could play every game in that building, they'd be a hell of a team. Kansas, of course, at the Fog, they handle a bad team in Colorado.
They're going to break people's hearts in the tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Kansas is going to get a bunch of money on them, and they're going to break your heart.
71-59 win over Colorado, who falls to 0-13 in Big 12 play. Oof. Bad time
They lost 3 NBA players off that team last year.
Yeah, bad time to join a suddenly elite college basketball conference. Marquette struggled early, particularly against DePaul. They get a 68-58 win. Cam Jones scores 19 points.
Boy, they need him.
But they needed a win.
Yeah.
They'd lost 3 games in a row. And, man, Dan Hurley finally went to Creighton, went to Omaha, and got a win. 70-66 win for UConn at Creighton.
Revenge game.
It's been a house of horrors for him. Liam McNeely, if you don't think he matters, well, he comes back and scores 38 points, gets 10 rebounds, and suddenly that's, mind you, 38 out of the 70 points that their whole team scored came from Liam McNeely's hands.
Earlier, AJ, you were talking about the Spurs in a situation now where you have your 3 stars, and you can start filling in the gaps, not with best player available, but for best fit on a team.
Yeah.
And, the specialized shooter is now going to be a thing that the Spurs are going to be actively in the market for, and McNeely is one of those dudes.
Yeah. Well, so is Alex Caravan, although I don't think he's a first-round pick. But Liam McNeely and Alex Caravan scored 48 of the 70 points that UConn scored in that game.
Mm-hmm.
So got a couple decent-ish games. Now, Tuesday is always going to be the big day now because that's the SEC day. And there is an SEC game tonight. There's 2 SEC games tonight. Ole Miss is at South Carolina, who's dreadful. They haven't won a SEC game yet. They were 10-3 in the non-con. They're now 10-13, 0-10 in conference.
That's skillful scheduling. Thank your AD for your 10 wins.
And then Oklahoma's at Missouri.
Oklahoma's in trouble.
Yeah, they are. Although Porter Moser is good as a dog. Like that's a coach who you generally want back they'll probably be a double-digit dog there. Duke plays Cal tonight. They'll be a 1,000,000-point favorite.
That's a fine ACC game, right?
Oh yes. Texas Tech hosts Arizona State, and I think probably
that's actually a good game.
The best game today, I think, is St. John's and Villanova. St. John's is at Nova. It's not going to be a fun game to watch. I don't think there's going to be many points scored in that game.
I wonder what the NCAA, the suits, those that run the league, what are their thoughts about Pitino? Are they excited this guy's back and got a good team?
I think so.
I don't know.
I think St. John's basketball being good, I'm sure they're excited about.
But Pitino, the vampire, and all the things that he has said and done, and hookers in the dorms and all that. And here he comes again because pound for pound, he's one of the top 5 greatest college coaches ever to walk the planet.
Yeah. No, I think that they're probably thrilled.
I don't know. He's they were hoping he was gone.
Well, he ain't.
No, he's a hell of a coach.
Again, now you got New York's basketball team relevant again, which is a big deal, I think.
It is. It matters. But I don't know about the rest of the league.
The rest of the league kind of sucks.
Well, I mean, the rest of the country and Pitino, I think that once he was run out of Louisville and run out of Kentucky and run out of everywhere else, that they keep throwing dirt on the grave of a guy who can just flat out coach.
Yeah. Again, I'd take him. If he were available, I'd want him at my school.
No, you sell your soul a little bit.
Especially now that you don't have to worry about NIL and stuff. It's now you can pay these guys. Big deal.
Yeah, that's true.
And, boy, that St. John's team, they have won 10 in a row now. 10 games in a row they've won. Now they're only a 2-point favorite at Villanova today, who I think Villanova stinks. So I like St. John's tonight, too. I also like the under. I don't know how either of these teams – Villanova sucks at scoring anyway, and St. John's is elite defensively. Also maybe a little offensively challenged at St. John's.
Well, offensively challenged is being nice, but that defense pressure leads to a lot of easy layups, so you don't have to be that good.
Yeah, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do tonight. I'll tell you what, you're going to have 2 Patinos in the tournament, it looks like, which with Richard at New Mexico looks like his team's pretty damn solid.
Yeah, he's a good coach. He's been in the tourney before.
Yeah,
at Minnesota.
But having them both at the same time is it's a good deal for them. So New Mexico probably the best team in the Mountain West. So Rick and Richard Pitino will be tournament bound this year. Which, again, it's been a long the last time St. John's was relevant, I was like a little kid. Like I don't even think I was watching. I mean, I knew of.
Yeah, it's
St.
been
John's.
25 years since they've really mattered, and it's
I think it's more than that.
Carnesecca.
I think it's like Chris Mullen days.
Well, no, it's been after that. They had a couple years after that, but it has been a long time.
Yeah,
long.
So they especially since they've been like nationally relevant. So they've got a top 20 team right now. They're certainly the best team in the Big East right now. So there you go. There's your college basketball discussion for the day, since that is now the only sport that's happening. In the NHL, in the world of hockey, I say the NHL in the world of hockey, that Four Nations face-off happens. It starts today. It's basically all-star teams from 4 different countries, and they play like a round robin, and then there'll be a championship.
So the 4 countries are us, Canada,
Sweden,
and
Finland.
No, so the Ruskies aren't in this?
No, we don't invite them anymore.
Oh, good.
They're too. They're at war. And it's of bad taste if you invite Russia to hang out. Like Russia can't even be in the Olympics, remember?
Well, we just put them in white and put them underneath the Olympic flag.
The Russian Federation.
Well, something like, can't we just put them under like the hockey flag?
Yeah, you're just hockey team, red and yellow hockey team.
I mean, that means about the same to me.
Yeah, might as well. But if you're into hockey, the games should at least be fun. They don't matter for anything other than national pride.
Are we sending our best?
Yeah, it looks like we're sending our best. We're sending our best. It's U.S. and Canada are way better. They're the way better teams. The other teams, meh. But it's good that we're at least Canada's got the best team, but the U.S. should be competitive. I'll say that. And I just want to see the guys on the team that I cheer for. Like I want to see them play.
How many Golden Knights are there?
There's 3 on Team USA. No, 3 on Team Canada, 2 on Team USA.
Where are they playing these things?
I don't know the answer to that. That's a good question.
What impressed me? Play outside.
Yeah, right. Montreal and Boston.
All right.
So,
is it a round robin? Will we have a champ?
Yeah. Everybody plays everybody, and then the 2 will play for the championship. So I think that's the game that happens in Boston. So likely we'll get Team USA versus Team Canada at some point, which that'll be worth watching. Again, if you're not a hockey fan and you want to just have a glimpse at the best guys in the world, this is a good chance to do it.
We're not far away from the NBA being able to do that.
You're not.
Pull 4 countries out?
Yeah, I think you could. Yeah, it'd be a fun event.
Us and France, France would win right now, but
yeah,
they might. But we're close. The Spanish, the French, us, and
was it Argentinians maybe? Canadians, you could probably put together a team.
Maybe just the Slavs. We'll throw in Lithuania and all the
Eastern Euros.
All the Eastern Euros together.
Oh, that might be the team to beat.
Well, we already got 4 teams coming in. We can do that now.
Except they're going to be very fat. That team is going to be very fat.
Depending on the time of year.
Yeah, pretty much always.
Well, our idea of fat and Dallas Maverick idea about a shape is very different.
That's true. And Nuggets fat.
Because they appreciate fat.
They appreciate him.
Dallas doesn't quite like skinny fat.
They do not like it. I'm looking at Luke and I'm going like, that guy was too out of shape. Okay.
He's skinny fat.
I don't know, man. I would love to hear the truth about how this thing got put together, because it doesn't seem like Luka just being fat and out of shape was the reason why they moved him. There's got to be something else to it.
Eventually, the book will be written. The 30-30 for 30 will be complete.
Yeah.
We'll know the story.
Yeah, that's how big of a deal it was. All right, let's hit a break. When we come back, we'll look at what's going on in the world outside of sports. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm going to tell you guys about attorney John Hicks. When you are dealing with family matters, you're dealing with a divorce or a child support modification or a custody battle, whatever it may be, you want someone who's been in the trenches. You want someone who's been there and done that. And that's attorney John Hicks. Not only has he been in the trenches and done it himself, but he's one of us. He's not a silver spoon lawyer. This is a guy who is a veteran, 6 years in the Marine Corps, 2 decades with the San Antonio Fire Department. He is an everyman who just happens to be a really excellent lawyer. And that experience gives him a unique mindset when he's representing his clients. And so if you're dealing with baby mama drama, probably the scariest part is your money. Where's your money going to be when this is all said and done? How much do you have? And that's one of the advantages that you get when you work with John Hicks. He does flat fee work. He'll represent you from beginning to end. He gives you the option of a payment plan, so you know I'm giving you this amount of money. This is where it's going to get me. With most lawyers, you give them that retainer, and then they'll just call you when it's out and say, hey, man, I need some more money. You go, what happened to the other money? Work. That's just not the way it works with John Hicks. Guys, if you're dealing with these problems, you want somebody on your side, Jay Hicks is the guy. jayhickslawfirm.com, or give him a call for a free consultation, 210-985-8330. That's 210-985-8330 for the Hicks Law Firm.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We are working this trouble spot at 410 eastbound Jackson Keller. Wreck in the right lane, causing about a 10-minute delay. Slow from Ingram. On 281 Frontage Road, southbound Thousand Oaks. This wreck is only the left lane getting by. And just northwest of downtown, I-10, lower level southbound right as you approach Culebra. That's a stall, left lane. 15-minute delay, slow from Hildebrand. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
South Texas, get ready for the ultimate sports talk experience. The one and only Rich Eisen is on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. With over 20 years of NFL experience, Rich Eisen brings breaking stories, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews with sports legends to your airwaves with unmatched wit, insight, and passion. Catch all the action every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show, only on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radio.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
You know the Roo Pub is proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
America's Diamond has never sold lab-grown diamonds, and we warned our clients, friends, and neighbors that wholesale prices would crash to almost nothing. 2-carat GVS2 lab-grown diamonds are currently being traded at wholesale for $264, but some jewelers are still selling them online for $3,000 to $4,000. Repeat, wholesale $264, retail $3,000 to $4,000. Some retailers are selling 1-carat lab-grown diamonds for under $300, and others are giving them away for free with purchase. Lab-grown diamonds are very easy to detect with gemological equipment. Tens of millions of carats are produced in huge factories in China and India, using a tremendous amount of subsidized electricity supplied by coal-burning power plants. America's Diamond has only offered traditional, real, natural earth-grown diamonds that are rare, extremely beautiful, and have had real value for centuries. See our television program tonight on ABC KSAT 12 at 12:35 a.m. or right now at americasdiamond.com.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half-off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. Today, you're going to pay down your credit card bill. But you decide when you'll pay it. Before the due date, so those interest charges don't get you. But you decide if you pay it in full. But you definitely should, because again, interest charges. With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Do you ever scroll through social media only to find yourself bombarded by bad news, hot takes, picture-perfect families, and yet another humbling professional update? It's hard not to get wrapped up in how everyone else is doing, but imagine how you would feel if you spent 45 minutes focused on how you are doing. At Cerebral, they make it easier than ever to access dedicated therapists and doctor-prescribed medication personalized to you. The best part, Cerebral offers in-network care so you can can focus on feeling better without worrying about the cost. In fact, 72% of people say they felt better in just 12 weeks. Cerebral makes mental health care easy, accessible, and more affordable. Cerebral is proud to be an official sponsor of the San Antonio Spurs, and just like athletes prioritize their physical health, mental health is just as important, and Cerebral is here to help you build a strong foundation on your overall well-being. Take that first step today. Go to Cerebral.com to see how affordable and accessible mental health care can be with insurance. Cerebral, make time for Mind Time.
If you miss the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you miss this.
My daughter is having a gender reveal.
With air quotes. You just went air quotes.
Dude.
What are you, Stephen Jones?
Well, yes. I told her, unless she's blowing that smoke out of her behind.
Whoa.
Dude, that's the best gender reveal I've ever seen.
You don't want to see that from your daughter?
I've heard it. Might as well be a little blue or pink smoke coming out of that thing.
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You're listening to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Dude,
I've never heard this before.
I've never heard this either.
Really?
No.
Is this a joke? Oh, this is. Yeah.
I've never heard this song. What is this?
The Rapping Duke.
The Rapping Duke?
When John passed away.
Yeah, when John Wayne in 84. I was in 8th grade when it came out.
This is terrible.
I know.
It's almost painful.
It's terrible, but it's funny good. Yeah.
Oh, it's funny good.
All right. We didn't talk yesterday about this. The Cowboys look like they've added Ken Dorsey to their staff as a passing game specialist. He will work with directly with Schottenheimer and offensive coordinator Clayton Adams. Chase Hazlitt was the Cowboys pass game specialist last year, and it looks like he will be gone. If you remember, Kevin Stefanski turned over play calling duties to Dorsey right after Deshaun tore his Achilles. He said, you know what?
I'm going to let you have it now.
Have at it, son. And now the offense they did show some improvement with Jameis Winston. They beat the Ravens. They beat the Steelers. And suddenly it was like, wow, what's going on here? But then Jameis threw 8 interceptions in 3 games. And for the rest of the season, Cleveland started Dorian Thompson-Robinson and Bailey Zappi. And you got unsurprising results.
You're going to have to define to me again. What is a passing game coordinator? I guess that's whatever you make it.
I don't know. It's like a quarterback's coach kind of, I guess. The guy who that's what Joe Brady was when he was at LSU. They called him the passing game coordinator.
So a guy that's there to help, but we're not going to define him other than
he's probably the guy who's going to draw up
drop
offenses.
Some plays, maybe call a play or two, keep your quarterback happy in his mind. That's funny how we were naming pass game coordinator and we're kind of zeroing in on this, but when you talk to the head coach and you hear from Dak, passing is kind of down the list for these guys.
Right.
They're not. This is not the future. They're not going to be winging it 45 times a game if they can possibly help it.
Well, I don't know if this is a good thing because Dorsey was fired by the Browns last month. Cleveland ranked 28th in total offense and 32nd in scoring. That's not ideal. And in 2023, he started the season as the Bills' offensive coordinator, but got fired in the middle of the season. So he's been fired from his last 2 jobs in 2 years. But, hey, man, here he is, part of the Cowboys.
And if I felt like it was, I mean, this is just another dude to me.
Yeah.
I until I see
he knows how to win, Rob.
Well, until we start drafting. Until we start not only extricating talent, which we're going to have to, and start drafting, then I'm going to get an idea where we're headed. But right now, I don't know what these guys are. I don't know what their plan is. The only thing I'm going to be able to get any kind of taste of is the talent that they're going to try to acquire and the talent that they're going to let go.
Yeah.
And then I'll get a better idea. and we'll get all that up until the draft. You can tell me you want to be a balanced football team. Hell, McCarthy told me that for 5 years. You weren't.
Nothing changed, yeah.
So you can tell me all that. You'll tell me by your actions. You'll tell me by your draft. You'll tell me by where you place your most value, and then we'll see where you go from there.
All right. Let's look at what's going on in the world outside of sports. And let's start over in England, where a fella named Thomas Faithful.
That's a good British name.
He's 31 years old. He is claiming that he's being shamed into moving out of his apartment building, the block of flats which he resides, after he was caught stealing 16 packages from his neighbors. He's a porch pirate. Now, he narrowly avoided prison, but he is obviously now humiliated.
And he wants to stay where he is?
Yeah.
All right.
But he said, I'd like to apologize to my neighbors, but, in person. But they like basically shamed him out of the building. He'd recently moved into the building when he started this stuff.
Was he saying he went through rehab and no longer has the urge to steal?
I don't really know. It says all the parcels were being dropped off in a communal reception area, and he would help himself to them on his way in or out. And one package contained a work uniform. It was his new work uniform, which meant he had to start his job without his uniform. There was an iPad that was taken. There was a phone, a new pair of shoes. There was body wash, all the just random stuff. He didn't care what was in the box. He was just taking it. But the residents grew frustrated because they would get photos of their packages being dropped off by the delivery driver, then they'd show up and they were gone. Well, they finally identified the guy on CCTV.
I'm saying, in Britain, there's a camera everywhere.
Yes, and they found all the packages inside his apartment. They've all since been returned, but now he's got to find a new place to live. He told magistrates that he was struggling with cocaine use at the time and had very little memory of the thefts.
But he's better now.
Yeah. Like when I do cocaine, I steal people's packages.
But I'm not doing cocaine today, so I'm not going to steal anything today.
You're safe.
I'm better today.
Yes.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow's a new day. That's what they all say.
Hope you're not getting any body wash. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Let's go to Florida. Well, why not? Where there was a high-speed chase. Well, a medium-speed chase. Matt Clardy was one of the victims. It was a man who was driving down the road, not at an excessive rate of speed, but fast enough to run into everybody on a block's mailbox.
Oh, geez. Is this on purpose or?
It was on purpose. And he is he was riding a lawnmower. So he actually got away. And some neighbors were chasing after him, and he
walking after him?
No, I think so. Yeah, they were running.
Well, how fast do they have to run?
I don't know. He left behind this is a big clue if you're out there, left behind a Pittsburgh Steelers hat, and they're currently working to identify the individual.
Oh, we don't know who it is.
No, they never found him.
So we just know a guy on a lawnmower went down the street, knocked every mailbox down, and we couldn't catch him?
22 mailboxes. 22 mailboxes.
What if that was a John Deere? Might have an advertisement in it.
One guy says that he watched it. He's like, it pissed me off because obviously now I've got to buy a new mailbox. But he's like, I was watching it on my Ring camera. I watched it 100 times. It's really funny. I mean,
and
those things like
that lawnmower. That's a Kubota there. That thing kept going.
That's right.
Took down
Bubba.
3 or 4 lawnmower mailboxes. Kept going. I'm in.
Yeah. I mean,
is it a federal crime? It is. That's federal. You started knocking down mailboxes.
So, yeah.
That's federal.
I think so.
You're serving time in the federal pen.
This is the I got almost arrested when I was a kid because our mailman left the back of the mailbox open, and I didn't steal any mail. I just mixed everyone's mail up. And they came to my house, and they were like, that's a federal crime. I was like, I don't know, 13 years old, something like that.
Yeah. First of all, why?
I don't know. It was just funny. It was mischief, Rob.
It was there.
It was mischief.
So you didn't even get to stay around to see it, the payoff.
No. All I did was basically get in trouble for it. Now, they could have thrown the book at me, but they didn't,
probably should
luckily.
Have been scared straight.
I was. And you know what?
Well, they're taking you into the county and let the
cons
scream at you.
I haven't done that since.
Oh, good.
I haven't done it since. So that's the
there we go. You learned your lesson.
Exactly.
I think my mailman does it on purpose. I get my neighbor's mail every day.
I would have went to jail.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, for sure. No, you would have. I don't know. You would have been long gone. A man pleads guilty to tampering with evidence after a missing woman's body was found in a North Texas home. The body of the 35-year-old woman was found decomposed in a refrigerator back in November of 2023 in McKinney, Texas. As a result of the conviction, the man has been sentenced to 30 years in prison. They arrested him after they executed a search warrant on his home, and they found her body. Now, you may say, well, what do you mean the tampering with evidence? I guess it's just the
body's the evidence.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, here's how the story goes. Schwab's mother filed a missing person report for her daughter on June 28th of last year, after one of Stephen's neighbors told her she'd not seen Schwab in several months. Schwab was in a relationship with Stevens, and her mother told police the relationship was full of abuse. Schwab's mother told police that her daughter told her on multiple occasions she feared he would kill her, and eventually, of course, he did. On that day, the day that they were contacted, they were met by Stevens' ex-wife and daughter, that they heard Stevens said he killed Schwab and buried her in his backyard. So the ex-wife and daughter, who live out of state, are the ones who
came and got him,
basically, kind of busted him on this. They don't even live there, but apparently this guy was he talked about it to his ex-wife, which that seems odd. So when the cops got there, he said, "Oh, you think I killed her?" And the affidavit said Stephen started asking her, "How do you know about the backyard?" and a bunch of other random things that she had brought up in conversation, like the things that weren't brought up in conversation. And of course, then he's busted. And he couldn't figure out how they found out all this stuff.
His ex?
Your ex? Dude, listen, man. A woman scorned. A woman scorned, Bubba.
I think he was trying to impress her.
Yeah. I don't know. He was never charged for murder because I guess they couldn't. They didn't have enough to prove it.
I mean, the dead ex-wife in the backyard?
No, not the ex-wife, the dead girlfriend.
That girlfriend?
But he did plead guilty to tampering with evidence. 30 years in prison.
I guess that's all you can hope for.
I guess so. But it does say they did all this digging in the yard. They found the body eventually in a refrigerator inside the house, and the refrigerator's only job was to store this body. It feels like to me.
I think he killed her. I think we could probably.
I'm not a DA. I feel like I've got a case here.
Well, yeah, I think so.
I feel like I've got a case. Yeah. You find if there's a refrigerator in your house with a dead body in it, you got to explain where this dead body came from. You can't just say I don't know.
Well, you don't have to say anything.
You have to.
I mean, it's up to the DA to explain what happened.
You know what?
Not me.
You're right. You have the right to remain silent.
But it just seems to me that the 30 years seemed like a good enough deal.
And finally, this is I don't know how Vic, do you have brothers?
No, just two sisters.
Two sisters. How you and your brother get along pretty well? Well, this guy in South Carolina, they did not get along very well. His brother and he did not get along very well. He's been charged in connection with the fatal shooting of his brother.
Oh.
And his name's Charles Gordon Perry. He's 55. His little brother, David Perry, was reported missing. Then he was found dead of a gunshot wound in a warehouse. Evidence found near the scene, including a backpack containing a gun, led police to the elder Perry brother, who showed up at the warehouse while police were there, asking if his brother was having a medical emergency.
Like a lead poisoning?
Well, what he forgot to do before he showed up there and asked if his brother was okay was wipe the red spots of blood off of his shoes. Amongst other evidence found at the warehouse was a handwritten list of items with words including gun, kill cameras, unique pants / unique shirt, long sleeve, unique socks, hammer, to-do list, leave phone, leave iPad, home, burn clothes, rag, suit, clean and toss casings, and gun.
Well, at least he's planning his work and working his plan.
Well, it turns out they didn't have enough to get him for murder, so they just got him for tampering with. Just kidding. They actually did get him.
Oh, darn it. So the list was the giveaway?
2 hours of security camera footage was missing from the system. And the red spots on his shoes and pants that resembled blood, yeah, it turns out it was actually blood.
Pull trigger.
Yeah, pull trigger.
Pull trigger.
Show up, pretend to cops you have no idea what's going on.
Leave gun, take cannoli.
Yeah, not a wise choice. All right, let's hit our last break of the day. When we come back, we'll take a look at the daily lines. I got to tell you guys about Carbach Brewing. Oh, we had so much Carbach for the Super Bowl, and it was all fantastic. You still haven't tried that non-alcoholic beer, have you? Oh, you did? Okay, last night he tried it. Vic's got your mic turned off because he doesn't care if you want to be involved in this commercial or not. But I'm telling you, it doesn't taste like it's non-alcoholic beer. It just tastes like beer. It's a very good tasting. Yeah, it's a good beer. But they've got that still. Dry January's over. Let's face it, you want to drink alcohol in your beer, and that's how you get your bang for the buck. And they've got something for everybody from Ziegenbach, Crawford Bock, Hopadillo. The new Hoplectic is on shelves now. You can find a little bit of the Dunkels and Dragons out and about. That's in the red box. And, of course, you can always find the Love Street, which is their best-selling beer, the Kolsch-style blonde ale. You find them in all the restaurants, all the stores and all the liquor stores, the grocery stores, but you're also going to find them in restaurants and bars, even places you might not expect. So when you're out and about, when you're doing your thing this weekend, go ahead and ask the bartender, please make it a Carbach.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a colonial with high ceilings, hardwood floors, and a peaceful neighborhood. And you found it. Now, every Saturday at 6 a.m., you get to wake to the sound of your neighbor's leaf blower. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Hunger striking, snack time calling, it's crunch time. Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds brings you the boldest protein-packed crunch you can't resist with mouth-watering flavors like hot honey, sweet barbecue, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Why settle for chips when you can level up your snacking game? Plus, they're low-carb, high-protein, and made for adventurous appetites. Score big flavor today. Grab Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds at H-E-B.
George gets justice.
At George Salinas Injury Lawyers, we are the ones you can trust. With over 100 years of combined experience, we are committed to helping people in our local community. Get George Salinas Injury Lawyers and put our experience to work for you and your case. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com.
George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
Most of us go to the doctor when we're sick or need prescriptions refilled. But at the Institute for Functional Health, we offer a different and complete version of primary care. This means you will get the medications you need, but we will also put together a custom game plan to fix the root cause and allow your body to heal itself. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we help people get off of medications. Call me for a free consultation, 468-1891, or online at iffhealth.com. You will experience a doctor's visit unlike any you've ever had. 468-1891.
Attention lovebirds. Valentine's Day is almost here, and Diamonds Direct has the gifts to wow your special someone. From dazzling diamonds and trending gold to vibrant gemstones, pearls, even timepieces. With hundreds of stunning styles under $1,000 and an exquisite collection of one-of-a-kind luxury pieces. Make your moment unforgettable. The best selection, value, and service are waiting for you. Make this Valentine's unforgettable with fine jewelry for every budget. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Looking to sculpt, tighten, or refresh? Dr. Connie Hires Plastic Surgery and Med Spa does it all. Awake lipo, tummy tucks, fat reduction, microneedling, and more.
Thinking about implants for your wife? Dr. Hires specializes in breast augmentation for women and reductions for both men and women. Get the results you want with expert care. Call 210-494-8446 or go to findyourbeautiful.com to start your transformation today. Use code word BLITZ for exclusive discounts.
Don't let pain hold you back from living your best life. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. At Arasti, we're dedicated to providing fast, effective relief from pain. Whether you've been dealing with a chronic discomfort for years or have recently suffered an injury, our goal is to help you recover quickly. Our treatment is all natural, non-invasive, and covered by most insurance plans. With convenient locations nearby, relief is just a call away. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Hi, this is Joe Reinagle. You're listening to the home of the Texas Rangers, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
All right.
Never played Madonna before.
Yeah, you have.
Have I?
You
Yeah.
had to have.
Okay. I don't remember.
Remember I said,
Oh, wait a minute. Was it Material Girl?
no, it wasn't Material Girl.
This one?
She did it better than Lady Gaga.
Oh, yeah.
She was a better Lady
She's the
Gaga.
OG. I have her Playboy.
Madonna's?
Yeah.
Did she have hairy armpits in Playboy?
Oh, yes, she did.
She did.
I don't like
It
that.
was all 70s in that thing.
Yeah, I don't like hairy armpits.
Yeah, no way.
I'm against. It's hard for me to be like, oh, that's sexy, and then like when I see,
And you're all...
yeah, it's just, I mean, I don't know. It's like yeah, we definitely play because I said like a prayer is my favorite Madonna song. I think it's such a great song.
Yeah.
Came out. Yeah, like people were all worked up about it when it came out, like in the late '80s, because it was sacrilege, and they had the burning crosses and stigmata and all that, and people were freaking out.
Then you turn over here and there's Motley Crue doing.
Like didn't she dyed her, or she went brunette in that video too.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Oh yeah.
By far the best Madonna song in my mind. Some people say Like a Virgin. I say Like a Prayer. When you call my name, I'll be there.
Sure.
You know. Yeah. Madonna heavily influenced you too.
Made him think impure thoughts.
That's right.
Bono go to church.
That's right.
Go to
All
confession.
Right. Let's do what we always do to wrap up the show and take a look at the daily lines.
It's the Morning Huddle's look at the daily lines with AJ and Rob on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You covered, yeah!
Bryn says he has 2 copies of the Drew Barrymore Playboy. Why do you need 2 copies is my question.
You use one of them.
One's for keep.
One of them is for use.
So you still have that Madonna Playboy?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it?
I don't know.
I have the sex book.
I got news for anybody who's saving Playboys.
I mean,
Don't.
They're just there. It's not like I'm going to throw them away.
Why?
I don't know.
It's
because you're a hoarder.
Well,
no, I'm not a hoarder. That's for sure.
But you keep a box full of Playboys?
He appreciates the human form.
It takes up.
He's got the internet.
But it's better. It's like vinyl records. You know.
I have crates and crates of records everywhere.
Well, then we keep vinyl. We have that digital. We keep the magazines because it's tangible.
Okay, the record crates are like they're almost like milk crates, right?
Yeah,
but they're a little taller. Okay, so in those crates with my records are the Playboys that
so
I
you
have.
keep
They're
your
just,
porn, and your music together.
That way, is that so your wife doesn't find them?
Well, just to keep them safe. Yeah, I'm going to go through my records again. I'll be back.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Going to be cataloging some records.
I'll be back in 4 minutes.
That Madonna record's good.
My dad had a bunch of them, and I threw them away. What am I going to do with these? Like, I don't know. I guess
don't know.
It's a bygone era, man.
You know what? You could go on eBay and sell them, but then you're the creepy guy selling nudie mags on eBay. Like,
Yeah.
No
and
thanks.
that Playboy we got at McCreeless.
Did anybody
at the bookstore?
hang on to their old penthouses? Hustlers? You have every hustler ever printed?
Let's
Anybody
see.
hold on to those?
I only have about 10 hustlers, maybe.
Good God, how much? You've got like a whole stash
porn
of
collection.
pornography
Oh,
magazines.
Now, here's the bygone
I
era.
inherited most of it.
Now, this was something that we have lost that we should try to get back is the Penthouse Forum.
Oh, I
Right?
used to
Yeah.
love that.
So the Penthouse Forum, not only was it arousing, but it was intellectually stimulating as well. You had to read.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays, people don't read.
Reading's dead because Penthouse Forum's no longer a thing.
They just say, show me the good stuff.
Yeah.
If you've never read an article that didn't begin with "I never thought it would happen to me," if you've never started an article like that,
That's true.
You
What are you-
really never read anything.
What are you reading? Claymore says, AJ, you mad you ain't got it? I literally had it, and I threw it away in the dumpster.
No!
Yeah,
really?
I would have donated them to you, Vic, if I knew you cared.
I'll
but
send you pictures of mine.
yeah,
The cover, it's got a little, I have it in a sleeve and everything.
I have all of my Jugs magazines. I kept those. They're
Jeez.
plastics in the plastic seal.
All right, let's get to the lines. You guys get your minds out of the gutter. The early game, the early tip tonight, 6 o'clock, the Spurs at Boston. Spurs plus 8.5 on the road.
That's the most appropriate line they've played under for
You
the
ain't
last
lying,
week.
man. There's been some crazy numbers. This one, that sounds about right.
Hey, take the Spurs on this one. I think there can be within 8.
Okay.
I mean, the one thing that we have going for us right now is there's really no film on De'Aaron Fox, so they have no idea what he's going to do. They can look at the sets that he might be playing in and go off maybe what Steph Castle would have done or maybe what Chris Paul would have done in that high pick and roll. But De'Aaron does it different, and you can tell that when the Spurs have gotten in trouble the last couple of games, they just kind of give it to De'Aaron and get out of the way.
Yeah.
That's hard to get ready for.
Not a bad call. 233.5 is the total on that one. If you think the Spurs can win, how about 3-1?
Oh, they can't win.
Can't win.
No.
Charlotte is at the Magic. The Magic. Imagine saying, I'll take the Orlando Magic minus 12.5 against anybody. That's
Paolo's back.
difficult to do. Difficult to do.
How many Wagners they got? Are we
I think,
still down 2?
I think they've got one right now.
Well, one Wagner's better than no Wagner.
That's true. Pacers. This might be the bet to make. Pacers minus 10 on the road at the Wizards.
I don't know who's going to play for the Wizards, but even if all of them
it doesn't
play,
matter.
I still like it. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Knicks 8-point favorites hosting the Hawks. The Hawks have won 3 straight, but the 8-point favorites are the Knicks. The Cleveland Cavaliers. This is a huge number on the road. Cleveland minus 14.5 at Toronto. I don't know that I can lay 14.5 in an NBA game, but I certainly don't. I'm not rushing to bet the Raptors.
Keep in
either.
mind, this is they got games tomorrow night, but everybody playing tonight, they're done. They're not. But there's no back-to-backs going in. So if you're playing tonight, you're done till Tuesday. I think winners win and losers lose in these games. So if it's a big line and the team's tanking, I think I'd take the favorite, even if they're on the road.
14.5 on the road.
What is? These guys have already got their vacation plans.
Right,
They've already got Uber scheduled.
All right. Sixers. Do you want to bet the Sixers as a road favorite?
No.
Philly minus 3 at Brooklyn.
No, I'm not going to do that one. Because both of them have
losers.
Uber
Like
scheduled.
you said, losers lose. Somebody's got to win that game, unfortunately. The Heat are at OKC. What do you think the number is there?
Oh, I'd say OKC in 7.
How about 14?
Oh, that's a big number. But hey, like I said,
14.
Miami ain't nobody headed off to the All-Star game.
No.
Everybody's going someplace else.
Earlier when I was talking about the teams that had the biggest turnarounds this season, the team with the biggest turnaround was the Detroit Pistons, who were the worst team in the league last year, and they've been mighty good this year. They are 6-point road favorites in Chicago.
They're playing a back-to-back?
Yeah.
Did you see what they did to them last night?
Yeah.
They were
And
up
now
by
they
like
gotta do it
42
again?
at halftime.
Do you expect more of the same?
I can't imagine. What was Chicago holding out? They're keeping their good plays till today?
I don't.
No one loses like that twice, but they ain't going to.
They don't have to lose like that.
Yeah, they got to be within 15.
It's minus 6.
Shoot, yeah.
Timberwolves minus 7 hosting the Bucks. The shell of the Bucks. I don't know.
Giannis.
Yeah, it's tough to back the Bucks.
And
right
didn't
now.
Milwaukee just lose to Portland?
Yes.
think we know which way to go.
Sacramento, a 5-point road favorite in New Orleans.
I like that too.
And then the Phoenix Suns, again, just played last night. They are in Houston now. They are Suns plus 6.5 in Houston.
I'll tell you, no team needs the All-Star break more than Houston. That team 2 weeks ago was the best team in basketball, and then they lost 5 straight.
Yeah, things are kind of falling apart for them. Here's one. Lakers at the Jazz. How many points are the Lakers laying?
Well, what did they beat them by last night or night before last? Luka, you want to talk about the perfect way to start your NBA career is get to play the Utah Jazz twice.
Yeah, in your
with
new
the Lakers.
town. Yeah.
So I think they're going to blast them out of the water. What are you talking about?
Lakers minus 8.5 on that one.
Easily 8.5.
The Blazers. What do you think the Blazers are at the Nuggets?
I'd have the Nugs and the Blazers playing good. The Nugs in 5.
11.5.
Too big. Too much.
I want to back the Nuggets there, even though you are back
well,
the
you know
Blazers.
why?
You say losers
your
lose,
guy.
but
no, your guy
can slow down.
Yes, and they got 2 big dudes to get on Joker.
Yeah.
I like that.
The Warriors minus 6.5 in Dallas.
Warriors are smoking right now. They're playing some basketball.
And the Memphis Grizz is at the LA Clippers. Grizzlies plus 4.5. I kind of like the Grizzlies.
That's not a bad. Yeah, I like that too. It's not bad.
Yeah, that's a good number in my mind. Let's see if I can find. I don't know if the. Oh, here it is. 4 Nations face-off. The hockey match tonight. Canada minus 238 favorite. They're minus 1.5 if you want to pay plus 110. Tomorrow, Team USA is against Finland. They're minus 310 favorites, and they're minus 120 if you want to lay 1.5 goals.
Of the 4, who has the best goalie?
The U.S. has the best goalie in the world, Connor Hellebuck.
There you go.
He's been the best goalie for the last 2 years. Canada has the best team everywhere except goalie. So that's kind of their big bugaboo. Is like
Crosby and snipers.
I was reading an article about Team Canada and how like they've deprioritized goaltending, and they used to always have the best goaltenders, and they don't anymore because they cross-train all these players to be a little bit good at everything. And part of that is part of what they do in their like in youth hockey is the goal in Canada is smaller. So it makes guys better at shooting and things like that, but it also handicaps goalies.
Fascinating.
Yeah. So this is the kind of stuff I'm randomly reading after football season.
That's the equivalent of, let's say, college and high school basketball. To get better, the rims are going to be skinnier. Just to make you a better shooter, the rims are going to be skinnier.
That's what they're doing.
That's fascinating to me. I don't necessarily agree with that.
Except it's hurting the goalies.
Yeah,
so they haven't had an elite goalie. The Knights goalie is like the second or third string goalie for Canada, and he kind of sucks. He's not very good anymore, and he still made the team because they just don't have anybody.
To have those national organizations that train in a method, like the Canadian School of Hockey and the Spanish School of Basketball and the Spanish School. The Americans, we don't have that. We don't have we've been focusing way too much on this.
No, you're right.
It's a very interesting method of getting great.
We have pretty focused wrestling training.
Yeah, and we have we do things like change the 3-point line. Ours is different than other places, but we don't deliberately have the young kids play with smaller or bigger things to get them better. That's a very interesting method.
St. John's is at Villanova. St. John's minus 2.5 on the road.
Ride that wave.
Totals 139.5. I like under. I don't know how anybody scores in this game. Ole Miss is at South Carolina. Ole Miss, a 4.5-point road favorite.
It's too small.
I feel like Ole Miss blows them out. Mm-hmm. Duke, minus 23.5, hosting the Cal Golden Bears. Texas Tech laying 16.5, hosting Arizona State.
Wow.
And Missouri, 9.5-point favorites, hosting Boomer Sooner.
Missouri's going to be mad. That's a big number, but I'd look at that one. 16.5 at home?
Yeah.
That's a big number to cover. I know Arizona State ain't what they were, but
Arizona State's not very good.
Yeah.
And that's, you talk about a coaching mismatch.
Still 16 points?
Yeah. Texas Tech has been
they beat Houston. That's enough for me.
Yeah. They beat Baylor by 14 at home.
Arizona, Tech.
Yeah.
Guns up, do it.
They're pretty damn good. They beat TCU by 14. They've gotten some. They beat Arizona by 16 at home.
I got to reevaluate. Go Tech.
Pretty solid. All right, friends. That'll do it for us. We'll be back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Jason and Joe coming up at 2.